All right, guys, welcome back to another live stream, guys. Tonight we have a special guest, Pilot Ryan Media, guys. So you know where you at? You're in the fun zone, guys. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's start the show properly. And of course, we got the one and only the man himself, the one and only Pilot Ryan Media in the house, guys. Welcome, Pilot Ryan, to the show. As well as we have the one and only Linden RC 215 hanging out with us tonight, guys. Other guys probably will be joining us here shortly. But how's everybody doing in the audience tonight? How is everyone out there tonight, guys? Shout out to you guys in the chat. Let me get my thing open. Addicted RC, Dwayne, Abe Rinks, David, Mouse, Reckham, J-Man, the Dad, Kelly Klein, welcome everybody in. Let me see who else. Am I missing anyone? K2H. It just jumped. I see everybody's in the house. We got a packed house. How's everybody doing, guys? You guys are absolutely awesome. Loud 410. Welcome in. Michael. Welcome. Sean. Welcome. Yes. Don't forget to smash the like button on the way in. 17 likes. 18 likes. It just went up fast. You guys are awesome. All right. So, of course, we got Pilot Ryan on tonight. We're going to be talking about some RCs. We're going to be asking some questions. Guys, remember, like I always say, no personal questions. If he wants to share something with us, that's up to him. But no personal questions, no matter what. We're going to stick to RC-related things, and that's it. All right, so let's dive into it. I guess I'll take off first. Let me put myself on solo. All right, my first question is, since I see you do so much 3D printing, what type of 3D printer do you have, and what has been your longest print to date? Let me get you on solo.
That's a good question. I have the Bamboo X1C Carbon. I got very fortunate. My wife, I've been doing this YouTube thing for a minute, and I forget that sometimes. And I always just think about RC. And I was shopping 3D printers, and my wife says, why don't you hit him up in an email and ask him? I was like, okay, that's a good idea. Because I was getting ready to buy like the A1 Mini or the middle grade one. And I wrote him a letter, and they wrote me back. And so I got the Gambini, right? I got the X1C. They hooked it up with the AMS thing on it. So it'll print a lot of different types of filament. I like the PLA because it doesn't stink up the house. But the longest prints have been these big SCX6 bodies. And even a regular 10 scale body probably is 40 hours or so worth of print time.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. But and that Bamboo's fast, but I don't have it dialed in on super fast. I feel like you get a little better fidelity if you let it, do it slow. I went for the Bamboo because it's like, I didn't know anything about it. And I was just right away being able to really work it out and do whatever I wanted to. It has its own slicer app. It does it over Wi-Fi. You're able to check it out through the phone. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, like a 10 scale body, 40 hours plus on the print time once you add it all up. And the 6 scale bodies is probably double that. And guys that are familiar with it know that you kind of there's a few different ways you can orient the print. You can print for the fidelity when it's done to be good, so you don't have as much sanding to do, or you can print for time. And since I know I'm going to sand them and finish them like crazy anyway, I'm kind of cheap, so I will print them. Some pieces I'll print upside down when I should print them the other way for fidelity, but I know I'm going to sand it to death anyway. So I want to save on filament and time. So I'll print stuff upside down, so to speak, just to save time and filament. Cause it hurts your feelings when you throw away all that support material, especially on these SCX6 bodies are huge. So it's a ton of support material if you don't slice them up.
Yeah, I was wondering about that support material. Did you freeze up? Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was watching a lot of videos and they was breaking all that support material off. I was like, wow, that looked like just as much as being broken away, thrown away, than in the part that was printed.
It's a lot. And the supports, they print really thin. So it's not as much as it looks like, but it's still a ton. And sometimes you need it. Depends on the weather. It depends on the material you're using. I've learned a lot. And that machine's been running quite a bit since I got it. But I think the PLA for me is the easiest stuff to work with. It doesn't seem to warp. I had some trouble when I tried, because when they sent a bunch of different filaments. I tried the ASA and the PSA, stuff that kind of stunk and seemed to be really temperature critical. So I had a lot of warping. I mean, there were times where I'm using painter's tape and hot glue to try to save a print because I'm so far into it, multiple hours into the print, and I'm like, there's only an hour left. I either have to Frankenstein this and try to save the print or kill it and start over, knowing I'm going to have the same kind of trouble anyway. So I would just do my best to see it through, and I would be pausing the print, and it will this machine will let you pause it and get back into it, and literally scotch tape, painter's tape, hot glue, and save, the print from being ruined. And most of the time it works, and I was able to, and I didn't care too much because I knew I was going to do a ton of finish work anyway. But that big red one I did, that one, it was like single digits. I'm in a sunroom, and so it warps more if it's colder. And I had a lot of problems. And so there was a ton of gaps when I glued it together. But I was so far in, I'm like, let me see this through. Let me just glue this thing together. There was gaps and cracks and stuff all over that big red one. And but I got that 2-part plastic JB Weld stuff, formed it up on the backside with like painter's tape and just filled it. So it's like a filler and adhesive all at once. And I was able to save that big monster print with
That's
a
awesome.
little bit of work. Yeah.
That is awesome. All right. Let me see. Linden, you got something?
Yeah, I got something. All right. What is a good beginner RC plane to start with for beginners?
The Aero Scout, 100%. The Aero Scout, it's a Horizon plane. It's ready to fly. You still have to grab a battery and charger because they used to ship them out with battery and charger, but for whatever reason, shipping lipos is like a thing. So now you can get the Aero Scout for like $199, ready to fly. So it comes with a DXS radio that's already programmed for the plane, which is going to give you access to stability functions, what they call beginner mode, intermediate, and expert mode. Basically, beginner mode is the same thing as safe, which is it's going to level the plane, not let you roll it over. Intermediate mode is the same thing, but a little bit less restriction, so more of a bank angle. And then expert mode is what most people know as just regular old AS3X, which is still a gyro stability, but it's going to not stop you from getting upside down, getting it twisted, doing loops and all that kind of stuff. And it's a pusher prop airplane and a tricycle landing gear. And that is really a great beginner plane, and it has been for a long time. I think a lot of my airplane guys would probably agree, and for multiple reasons. The technology pre-programmed for you already, the fact that it's a pusher prop, so when you do have a hard landing, you may not have to leave, right? Like if you smack it up and break the landing gear, you still got your prop on in the back, and so it didn't ruin your day. Otherwise, you're flying something that's more traditional with a prop in the front, and if you nose it over or land hard, you're liable to you know, break that, and then you have to go fix it. So the Aero Scout, I don't have one. I got one almost together.
Oh,
But you
okay.
can see what I'm saying. So it's got a lot going for it with the propellers in the back. It's a high wing. So they kind of just, even without the technology, they just a little bit self-level because of the way they're configured. And then the gear's not in it, but there's a nose gear and then two mains back here. So even if you land hard, you don't mess up where the rubber meets the road, so to say. So I think the Aero Scout, most guys would probably agree.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that answer.
And Dave has that same plane. He ran it. A tree limb jumped out and grabbed it out of the air.
Those
Dave from
magnetic
Crazy
trees,
Quad.
you got to watch out for those magnetic trees. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Those trees are very magnetic. All right, we got one from the chat. Guys, don't forget, if you have a question, make sure you put question marks in front of your question and after your question, just like I did. I put down at the bottom of the chat so we can stand out and we'll make sure we get your question. We have a question from the chat from the dad. The dad said, can I get some of those SX bodies to scale down for my SX 24s? LOL.
Yeah, and this kind of pigtails on. I saw a question J-Man had about if I was designing these bodies. The files are out there, right? So I've become okay with 3D printing, but I am zero on a designer. So there is a wealth of files out there that somebody's already done all the design work for.
Yes.
And that's how I'm finding them. So like you imagine Colts 3D, there's what's the other one? They're all over the place, 3D files. So I always pick the ones that have the most thumbnails and the fidelity looks really good. Lots of good pictures. And I keep printing files from this guy off of Colts. And his name is Andrei, Andrey Borodzny. And that International 64, I was looking for an international truck. I wanted to do one of my grandpa's old trucks. And I didn't find it, but I found that one. And when you buy, the files are like $20. And depending on the software you have, you can kind of plot a point on the arches, right? And see what that dimension is, and then just scale it up to fit what you want. So when I bought the files for this red dog here,
okay,
I scaled it up. He had a handful of different files. There was 10 scale files and 8 scale files. The 10 scale files were made for some kind of chassis that was not even quite 12-inch, I think, on the wheelbase. Okay. So I scaled up the 10 scale files to 115.41% to get the 13-inch wheelbase I needed for the leaf spring deal I was doing. And then I took the 8 scale files and scaled them up to 144 to work it out on the SCX6. So as far as an SCX24 goes, you just take it and scale it down. And it'd be even easier on a 24 scale because you could print the body in like one shot. And you can easily just mark the points on the center of the arches to determine the wheelbase. And you don't always get it right the first time. It's all right. Think about what you're able to do with these things. You're able to get stuff that no one's selling. Nobody is selling an International Travelall 1964 or like that white one, the Willie's Wagon, you know, or this 54 Chevy next to me or the 69 Ford on the floor, you know. So it can be done. You just need the guts to give it a shot, and scaling them up and down has been pretty easy. I really have to blame my buddy Kelly for this in the first place, because 3D printing, I always thought I'd probably get into it someday, but I was a little intimidated by it.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Kelly Klein, he got one and he hit the ground running. Before I knew it, I had like 4 Ziploc bags full of parts, and he sent me where'd I put that joint? Is the little Land Rover in bags, and I had never seen any of this stuff before in my life.
Oh,
And,
wow.
I built up a base camp chassis, and then I put together that Land Rover. And as I was doing it, I realized, man, if you're able to design this and print this, because like I said, I don't really design them, but I've gotten pretty okay playing around with the software to add shapes or cut shapes out or to adjust it and tweak it, you know. So yeah, it's all Kelly's fault. He got the 3D printer. He gave me the Ziploc bags full of Land Rover parts. I put one together, and I haven't stopped since. And he's going crazy too. Dude has like 7 SCX6 bodies that he can just easily switch out.
Oh, wow.
On the chassis. Yeah. So you don't have to have 7 SCX6s. I mean, you would get divorced for that, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
1 or 2, you know, we at this point we're all in. And these big ones are really great in the winter time because the tires are like 7 inches. So, and having the 2-speed that comes stock out of the box on the SCX6 has been really nice for wanting that wheel speed in the snow. But yeah, it's Kelly's fault. He's rocking 2 printers right now and has like 7 or 8 SCX6 bodies like ready to go at any time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's been on my show a couple times, man. We're good buddies. He's local, and he started. So it's his fault that I'm 3D printing, but I think it may be my fault he's into surface at all, because he was an airplane guy first, just like I was. And then I started bashing 5 years ago or something. And I got all my aircraft buddies kind of paying attention to the surface side a little bit.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Let me see. Louie Fix It. Welcome, Louie Fix It back. How you doing, Louie?
Louie.
What's up?
Hey.
I hate to put you on the spot, Louie, but do you have a question ready to go?
Oh man.
If you don't,
your backdrop looks different every time, man.
Yeah, go on and break it down, Louie. Tell them what you did, Louie. Go and tell the guys what you did.
I had to do the cars. I had to do my back set, you know, over again. Well, if you saw the video, you already saw it, but let me see if I can get it up. There we go.
Yeah.
So I just took them all and hung them up on the wall right here. I came from out of the room that I was in before, and I took them all, hung everything up on the wall, put a little spotlights on the ceiling now to shine down on them. Make it look a little bit, you know, I gotta keep their appearance looking good, man. I you know, people want to see something. They don't want to see just a dirty background behind me. I can't have it all dirty and messed up back there. Ain't nobody gonna watch my channel then.
It looks good.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, man.
Definitely looks good.
Oh man. Whew. I mean, I got questions, but I'm mostly curious about the plane. Oh, hold on. That place where you take your planes off, that's a RC made airport?
Yes. So there's, you know, RC is one of the it's like the biggest little business you never heard of, right? Like there's a ton of us that do it, but you got to really go there on purpose, especially with the planes. So there's RC clubs all over the place. The field that I'm flying at most of the time, it's an RC club, and you pay your dues and all. But that runway is made out of what they call geotex. It's a US Fabrics 320 or something like that is the name of it. But it's basically like an industrial weed block. And so it a little bit looks like a tarp, honestly, that's kind of thicker gauge and it's got petroleum products in it, so to speak. And there's all kinds of different ways you can prep it for an RC club or a parking lot or a runway for drones if you're the military. That's kind of where that stuff came from. Yeah. And so you can buy it and clubs buy it, and it's a nice solution and cheaper than, you know, paving or pouring a legit runway. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Ours is kind of small, to be honest. It's not quite 30 feet wide, and it's probably, what is it, 280 feet long or something. So I land them as slow as I can get them because I'm always filming and I hate to run off in the grass, but sometimes you have to. But yeah, it's been nice. Before we had that runway, we were flying off of the grass there. And that's cool if your planes are huge, but if you're flying more of the things that are really available and easier to get into, the wheels are just kind of too small the way it scales. Even cut grass is going to be like a real plane landing in a wheat field, right? So it's nice. It's definitely nice having a runway. And that geotex, if you do smack it up, it's way smoother than like pavement or concrete is. So it's like your plane gets a rug burn instead of really chewed up, which is kind of nice.
Is this the place that you're talking about? Is this the place? I saw a video that's like 2 years old. I think it was the E-Flight Habu SS.
Yeah.
Is that the same place you were flying that you're talking about right now?
That's right. Yeah.
I was looking at that place. I was amazed. I was like, hold on, what is going on here? This place looks very set up and very nice. This is really set up for RC planes. Seriously. I thought it was an airport. Then I started looking. I was like, hold on, this place is set up strictly for RC planes.
Strictly for RC planes. And when I first moved to town and drove by the place, I thought it was a shooting range because they call them stooges, those aircraft tables that have they've got posts up on them that hold your wings. So if you accidentally power it up, it's not flying off, right?
Oh, wow.
So it looked like a bunch of, stations for popping off, but it's actually an RC flying club. And like I say, there's a ton of them around once you start looking. And with so many people flying electrics, it's really nice. There's a couple clubs in town that have electricity on site as well, which makes it super for, charging up your batteries while you're waiting. While you're burning up some, you can be charging up the ones you just spent, which is pretty nice.
Awesome. Oh, okay. All right. Let me see. It's my go. I'll take one. Okay. Not really for a beginner pilot. Anybody learning to fly, what would be the best transmitter that you could buy that you could use on all of your planes that you plan on buying? What's the best transmitter for beginner pilots or for long time pilots? What's the best transmitter on the market that you have in your possession?
These are great questions, man. And I'll tell you, not only will I guys, you got a talker on here. I hope that's okay.
Hey, that's what I love it. I love it. I love it.
I can't stand the glare though, man. But anyway, the great question, and here's why. So the best bargain radio that's going to have the features you need to be able to play along with everybody else, so to say, is going to be the DX6E, the Spectrum DX6E. It's a computer radio. The E stands for like economy/entry. So there's just a few features it doesn't have. But as far as the ability to be able to program the radio and actually see what you're doing on a computer screen and be able to access the forward programming for doing the stability part of the setup, that is the first best one you can get into. It's like $250. Something like the DXS that comes with the Aero Scout. I'll show you one. Hold on. Because this is a computer radio, lots of bells and whistles. You got the screen on it. This is actually very similar to the DX6E. It's just got more it can do. But a DXS, it's got nothing, basically.
Oh, so wow.
It's great for what they come with, like the Aero Scout or beginner planes, because they're already pre-programmed for that.
Okay.
But if you were moving on up and you wanted to be able to access any kind of programmability in the other bind and flies that are out there, plug and play planes, this is going to be extremely limited. It's analog. It's not a computer radio. You don't have the screen. It's fine at what it does. But when you're getting into these planes and it's time to program them, you need a computer radio. So the best, cheapest computer radio that's going to give you access to what I consider to be the best options out there, being the Horizon offerings, really. I mean, the E-Flight planes, what used to be Park Zone, the Hobby Zone beginner planes and stuff, those are built upon that Spectrum technology. And as somebody who has always rooted for the hobby, regardless of wherever I've had hobby shops or been at, I always felt the same way with the Spectrum stuff for getting people into the game. It's just, I mean, they're huge, right? They're the industry leader. So everybody else is emulating that or playing catch up. They're the OG, and the stuff is really good. So to answer the question, the DX6E, best first computer radio. And if you got the money to swing it, get an NX8 or an NX10, because now with the update, these things have access to 20 channels that you can program into these just with the update. The 6E is always going to be a 6-channel radio. The NX7E becomes a 14-channel radio. I got one of those too. But I like the feel of the NX DX case. The NX7 looks like a stormtrooper. It's white. It's its own thing. But the DX6E, it's a classic, best first programmable radio. Stick a fork in it. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that video. You had the white one on one of your videos.
Yeah.
You
think too. It's just 50 more bucks.
Okay. Okay. All right. Linden, you got something?
Yeah, I got some. All right. What type of RC planes are there out?
Are there out?
Yeah, like what types of RC planes? Like different types of models and.
Oh man, everything you can think of. So what I would say there's so many facets. Same thing with surface, but there's so many facets of aviation that people are into. Some of it's really a throwback, kind of retro, old school. You'd be surprised at some of the competitions there are. There's people still doing rubber band powered things, but as far as like radio control, most of us, you've got beginner planes, prop planes, jets, warbirds, sport jets. So a sport jet's going to be built to fly well as a model, where if you're flying a F-15, it's awesome, but it's a little more scale. The flight character is way different. It's a little bit harder to handle than something that's like a Habu that's built just to really be a model and doesn't necessarily exist in full scale. And that's just electric. There's turbine jets running on kerosene, and there's people still flying gas and nitro airplanes, with real internal combustion engines, just like, surface. But the electrics have really made it. I mean, it's like the golden age. And I've been feeling like it's been the golden age since 2008, since I got into this. When I first got in, electrics were kind of new still. So they had nickel metal batteries. They had brushed motors and gearboxes, real fiddly up front. If you had a prop strike, you were usually replacing all kinds of stuff. And then it was right on the edge of converting from that nickel metal brushed power system into LiPo power, Outrunner brushless, that kind of thing, where it got really good and really efficient. And then things that we were dreaming of, like retracts and lights and even suspension on the landing gear, we have that. And that was a dream back then. RC's like dog years. I joke with folks, like, if you miss a year of RC, you got 7 years to catch up on.
Absolutely, because the technology and the innovation just continues to change.
Out of this world. Yeah. Out of this world.
All
and
right,
I can tell you guys love RC too. You know, when I found you guys.
Oh my goodness, I kicked Ryan off the stage. My bad.
No worries.
I was trying to put him on solo and kick them out. My bad.
Brady Bunch style. We're moving. But and you ain't got to even have me on solo. But yeah, when I found you guys, I was like, these guys are into it for real. Like, and it really is at the end of the day, like about putting a smile on your face, having fun. And most good folks that are into RC want the same thing for everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
You want them to have success. You want them to not buy something that's garbage, because I think in a way, selfishly, we all want everybody to be successful with RC, because the better the consumer does, the more options we're going to get from the manufacturer. I think is secretly the hope in the back of my mind. Like, I always want everybody to be successful. So they move up out of the beginner stuff and get into that more advanced stuff that has my attention a little bit more than, I mean, beginner planes are a blast. And when it's really windy, they're super easier to fly than some of the more scale things are. But I think we're all rooting for the same thing. And I found you guys. I was like, man, I've been here since I found you. I'm glad to have found you guys.
Absolutely. I'm glad you were able to find us, man. Hey, it's been an awesome experience. Hey, because I'm telling you, I'm not going to lie. I enjoy going over there rating you. Hey, because when you say chastity, I die laughing. That is the funniest thing for me ever.
And I'm just jumping in on an inside joke. I mean, that's how infectious what y'all are doing is.
Exactly.
I mean, it's rubbing off and having a good time and good folks and good knowledge. Everybody wants some, and it's contagious. And I tell you what, I'm not the only one probably saying chastity. It's just,
oh yeah, we are. It's man, chastity has grown its own legs and is walking around like a person. I mean, it's everywhere.
Isn't that Louie's doing or what?
Yes, Louie started all of that. Louie started all of that.
I said it wrong a couple of times, and they saw it, they heard me say it on the live, and was like, "Oh!" So I was like, "Yo, man, let's use it," you know, just in case somebody, you know, because people was coming on and saying words that we really don't allow on the live. They was typing it in, so yeah, I was like, "Yo, let's use it as, you know, to replace, you know, a word that somebody can't say."
Yeah,
man, I think,
and it was very cool. Like when Louie said that, I was like, Louie, that makes sense, really. Like when somebody want to use like a profane language, because we keep it rated E for everybody, because we don't want to offend nobody. My nephew's watching, my daughter's probably watching, Linden's son's watching, J-Man's son's watching, Rita his kids are watching. So we try to keep it clean. So even though the kids don't participate in the chat, we want to keep it clean so everybody can listen to it. Because if you're walking around the house putting your kids to bed, because normally it's getting about around bedtime for the kids, 9:30. So you walking around getting them in bed, then you listen to these guys with foul language. They're like, oh no, I can't put them in bed and listen to y'all at the same time. You know, but if we keep it clean and have, you know, it's a possibility they can stick around for a little bit longer. Well, shout out to the 41 in the house.
Good for you for doing that. I've managed to keep it clean in the videos, my real videos, but I gotta say, after 6 years of live streaming, I finally let it slip every now and then.
Hey, it's understandable though, you know. Yeah. It's a real world out here, and guess what? Let's be honest, those kids sometimes say worse things than we can ever even think of saying on this live stream. I'm telling you, catch them with their friends, you'll be like, Did you just hear that? You're like, oh my God.
I need a book just to know how they be doing in the movie. Skibbity, Ohio, Rizla, Phantom Tax, like what? Like I need translation from somebody.
Absolutely, me too. Yeah. We got a couple of questions in the chat. Let's get these 2 questions in the chat before we move on. I'm not sure who it is.
Reboot my internet. My wife said it's going crazy upstairs.
Okay. All right. Randy said, "What's the difference in air lipos and surface lipos?"
Come on, brother.
the hard case. That's really it. So, you know, for surface, they'll give you the hard case a lot of times, and just to protect it, obviously, from what they know it's going to go through, getting bashed. So for airplanes, it really boils down to everything is designed to be as lightweight as it can be. So if I got a 3S 5000 soft pack and a 3S 5000 hard pack, man, that hard pack battery, it's just so much heavier than the soft case that you just wouldn't want it in the airplane. You can do it, but you start to suffer if you make it too heavy on a plane. It's got to have enough weight. You ever fly a paper airplane and it's a piece of garbage, and then you put a paper clip on the front and it's dynamite?
Absolutely.
Same thing. So sometimes we'll put more battery in the plane than it calls for because we know we need the nose weight. But as far as that question, there's no difference other than the weight of the battery in the hard case. That's it.
Oh, okay. We got another one from J-Man. J-Man said, can we see a few of your bills when you got time?
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me get some of these planes off. Radios off. I'll start.
I'm about to say we got planes out. I'm about to say what planes would we have out?
They're all above me. They're filling up my garage. I got one over there, two over there, one over there, one over there, and 4 in the ceiling.
Dang.
That ain't the garage yet.
Yeah, that's just scratching the surface.
That's it. All right. So, depending on how into crawlers you are, you may have noticed how leaf spring keeps coming up. There's a lot of Twisted Fab is doing some pretty dope leaf spring kits for a bunch of popular models out there. And I mean, they're cool, and they're made to actually really perform, because most people know that a leaf spring situation is not going to be full flex, really awesome, like a 4-link coilover situation. So for me, and there's also some leaf spring kits that are really expensive, and seem to be like boom racing, where they're always dedicated to it seems like a handful of different Land Rovers, which I like Land Rovers, but when I'm building a kit, I want to put the body on it that I want. So the best cheap leaf sprung chassis out there is the FMS 1/6 scale Suzuki Jimny that they sell. And so I've bought 4 or 5 of those and stripped the bodies off and then customized the chassis and the leaf springs that it comes with, because that's like the only RTR that's like 10. They call it 6 scale, but it's because the Suzuki's small in real life. This is on a Suzuki Jimny chassis, and I stretched it out to like 13 inches to work it with this International. But dude, like $200, you get the Suzuki Jimny, and it comes with a hard body that's pretty all right, really. That's the Suzuki Jimny hard body. But what's cool about it is look how the interior is scale. So that means the chassis itself is also laid out really nice, where the motor and transmission is up front, and you're able to do like full interiors on your build. So without paying $700 for a boom racing leaf sprung chassis kit, I'm getting FMS Jimny that they're blowing them out for like $2 now. They used to be like $360, $370. And so I'm 3D printing my things off, and I'm putting them on these leaf sprung Jimny chassis. So to me, for the guy going for leaf spring crawlers, more like trail trucks, less performance, but like cool factor, you can't beat the price of that Jimny. And it's the same chassis that FMS used on the FJ40. And I got one of those Michigan Jeeps up here too. The thing with FJ40 is it come with 4-link and coilovers, but $50. You get the leaf spring kit and you can add it on. And so some people blow hard about the quality of those FMS chassis on these particular models. And I mean, I get it, but you get what you pay for, right? So you can't expect, you know, you ain't going to put a $20 haircut on a $5 dog. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it is what it is. But this yellow FJ40, it's FMS, it's hard body, it looks fantastic. I did the leaf spring upgrade kit on it. And I use that thing all the time to pull a trailer with another crawler on it. And that thing's got a ton of miles on it, on a chassis and gear drivetrain that people act like is garbage, but it's been holding up for me. So I build them a couple different ways. I'll go with that FMS leaf sprung chassis. Like I said, I've done 5 or 6 of these. And then I'll also, that axial base camp builders kit, you get straight axles with it. That thing is dynamite as well. My only beef with the axial is that instead of the motor and transmission being up front in it, right here where you want it, it's kind of in the middle. So you've got a lot of work to do if you want to scale out the interior. But, you know, it's just like anything. You try to pick the right tool for the job, you know. And that first Land Rover I did that Kelly made me, I built that and put it on a base camp chassis kit. And
oh wow,
to be scale, it would be on a leaf spring deal, but I got me a Land Rover that articulates like a beast because I put it on coilovers, you know. So that's one of the builds. And this was probably 40 to 50 hours worth of printing. And it's a panel truck. You don't see a whole lot of the interior, but I did one. And the way I made it, I can pull a couple. I can access the battery and it's got lights and all. I can access the battery right here. But if I pull a body pin here and 2 body pins in the back, I can take this whole joint off. So that's kind of all right.
All right.
So what's cool about these 3D files is you can manipulate them a lot. So this dude here, the CJ7 from Axial up there, the Jeep, Night Customs makes 3D files where you can have a more scale, like true scale depth interior, and also articulated driver, where there's a servo that runs the steering wheel and you hook his arms to that and you can put a servo in his back and his head turns. So I bought the files for that CJ7 and did the Night Custom 3D printed install on that, and it's dope. Well, I have the files already. I'm not going to use them once. I wasn't born yesterday. So I scaled them to the size. I stretched it out. I did whatever I needed to do. I cut out in the middle for where, because this one's got a transmission in the way where that one doesn't. And so this joint has an articulated driver as well. But the interior, the driver, all the bits were basically repurposed off of the CJ7 files that I bought. So in the software, you're able to shrink and stretch and cut. So I don't really design, but I definitely will make something work. And in this one, if you watch any full scale off-roaders, there's a channel called Fab Rats, and they do a lot of cool fab work and like rock crawler builds and things like that. They're out of Utah. And so they had this old Willys wagon, and they made it, they put a Ford heavy duty chassis underneath it, 4-linked it, coilover shocks, like they resto mod crazy. made a really dope rock crawler out of an old Willys Jeep. And so I made theirs. I mean, this is as close as I could get to their Jeep off of YouTube that I could get. Even the stupid color and the stickers on the back. It's just kind of a nod to that channel. I even have the same tires on there, like BFG Goodrich. Hot glue, license plates, plywood. I'm not ashamed. Whatever it takes for me to work them out, I'm using it. Oh, yeah. How do you make your windows? When the kids get goofy toys for Christmas, I'm like, let me handle the trash. And all that clear garbage that comes on, like if you got daughters, you know what I'm talking about. Like the dolls.
Exactly.
Hey,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I make my windows out of garbage trash. And I got a ton of builds. I don't want to keep you all day with them.
No, you keep going. Keep going. You can keep going. We got a couple of questions in the chat, but you can keep going. We'll get those questions in a minute. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Don't worry. Bear with us. We're going to get those questions. I see Sergeant J got a couple without the question mark. I'm going to get them. I see them. If you got any question, put question marks in front of your questions after your question so it can stand out so somebody can make sure they grab it.
Now, not very often do I actually leave a truck alone anymore. I'm just in love with the brushless power and the low modulation you get out of those. You know, when you go from a brushed motor to the like a 2-in-1 hobby wing or even the 2-in-1 Spectrum systems. But this and FMS, they're putting out some cool stuff. And I saw Sarge's that big rock bouncer thing. That thing is big and it looked really awesome. But FMS is kind of putting their own brand on, I think, stuff that's coming from maybe multiple places. I think there might be a little Relarlo DNA in some of this stuff, to be honest, as well. I can't put a finger on it, but nothing wrong with that. But when people ask me about crawler, like best one to get into, low cost, you got to think about the classics like the TRX4 Sport or like the Base Camp, right? Until the prices went up, you were in like the 3.5 range on the price. And if you wanted something with inner fenders, bells and whistles, lights, and that kind of stuff, you were looking at like $5 easy, whether it was Axial or Traxxas. FMS has, like I say, got a handful of different brands, I think, that are feeding them. So in one breath, you can talk about that leaf sprung chassis, like, you know, it's not all that. But then in another breath, if you look at the new Chevys that they've released and this Toyota LC80 that they got,
yes,
it's like a different manufacturer. Like when you look under the lid of this thing, you think you're looking at a TRX4. And why I think this is dope is because, like I mentioned, the bare bones entry level crawler is going to be $3.5 no lights, no 2-speed, really not much going on, no inner fenders. This LC80 was $300. It's got lights, it's got 2 speeds, it's got inner fenders, it's got tons of fidelity. And if you're into Toyota, I mean, that's cool too. But this one, I didn't do nothing but put stickers on it. I did a run on this stock out of the box from one of the best looking places I've ever crawled at in Indiana. But when folks are asking me, I'm like, hey, for $3, you can get a full house joint if you'll look at the FMS LC80. And they got a couple different paint schemes on this one they offer. And they offer a brushless version as well. Also portal axle or straight axle. But it's a heck of a value. You know, if you're wanting the full house, it is kind of, I never thought I was going to care about that 2-speed of it all, but it's kind of fun having it.
Yeah, that's a nice truck right there. That's a nice truck.
It's not
definitely,
bad.
Definitely, very nice, very nice.
To it, except you know, I added some decals that I had left over from this FJ55 kit from RC 4-wheel drive that I built.
And if it looks like a TRX4 underneath, or reminds you of TRX4 underneath, that thing is built to the gills. Then
check this out. So I'm gonna take the body off. So just 2 little cam locks underneath, and then you're into it. and the lights are, see those magnets at the back?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what turns them on. That's the connection for the power to the lights. And now you see what I mean. So it looks.
Yeah, that
nice.
definitely reminds you of a TRX4 underneath.
It really does. And having the 2-speed is one thing that the once you get out of the sport lineup, all those TRX4s have 2 speeds. So this has got 2 speeds, lights all over it. It's laid out very much laid out like a Traxxas is, battery in the middle. And it's a 2-in-1 ESC, but it's like an 8-channel radio or something that comes with this.
Mm.
And, I change my stuff out a lot on these things right away, but this one is so good. And there's so much that ESC receiver and radio are doing that I'm not messing with it. And when I do mess with it, I'm keeping the radio. Maybe I'll change the motor and go 2-in-1 or whatever, brushless. And I don't care about turn signals and stuff, but it is nice having the 2-speed and all that stuff already programmed.
Absolutely.
It just looks so good. I was like, I'm leaving this one alone.
Yeah, that looks nice, man. That's by FMS, right?
FMS.
Yeah, that's the one that they got a gray body with the stripes on it too, right? With the red and yellow stripes.
Yeah, that Toyota, super iconic Toyota branding, and they just released like a white bodied version of that too. And you can hear that click on and get right. And I mean, you can pick that by the rack when you lock it in all the way. You got to almost do it. It clicks and then it clicks 2 more times, and then you got it. Yeah, now it ought to stay.
Oh yeah.
And I beat it up. I mean, in the video, it took some tumbles, and I took it out there. My guys had some built-up crawlers, and I took this RTR stock everything, and I couldn't do exactly what they could, but I could keep up pretty good.
Okay. We got another question. While you showing your RCs, Sergent J said, "How many planes do you have?"
I don't know if I can count that high.
Oh wow!
I don't know if I can count that high, man. I got a bunch.
What's that on the same shelf as the red rig, the red truck, the first truck you showed on the opposite end? What is that?
The FJ45?
Yes, let's see that. That looks interesting from here. That looked very interesting from here. Sergeant J also said, "Do you run any nitro engine powered planes?"
I don't. I came in on electrics, and I'm so happy with them. I have not messed with that. I've had my hands on the sticks a couple times of other people's, but I don't have any of my own. So this is another Toyota. This is the Vanquish Phoenix. And I'm an airplane guy, guys, really. But this was the first kit I ever built. Car. So this was a kit build, and it was the first paint job I ever done also, and I went for the patina deal. I might have overdone it, but
it looks good.
Yeah, that looks good, man.
The Vanquish, man, as far as crawler goes, the transmission and the motor, this big plate on the bottom is the bottom plate to the motor and trans. So they've got the weight as low as you can go. And so this thing is one of my best performers, actually. And this is on a portal axle. They didn't have the straight axle kit when I got this. But this thing's got 2 different overdrives, a dig. It's a pretty complicated transmission. I think they call it the VFD Twin. I did the light kit on it. And yeah, this is the first kit I ever built. This thing's pretty dope. And this is actually another Fab Rats inspired truck, because they rebuilt an FJ45 and for real, and it looks a lot like this. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I kind of went for it when I built this one out and painted it. And the
Yeah, that's
Lexan's
nice.
nice. Like when you want the scale stuff on the Lexan bodies, everybody paints Lexan on the inside most of the time. And for bashers and all, I think that's great. But for me on the patina, I layer it up and then sand or scrub through to get what I want to show up. So I sanded and scrubbed a ton to get this thing. I spent more time on this body than the kit build. So yeah, and that's nice with Lexan. Like 3D printing, no matter how good the printer is, you always have the lines unless you figure out how to sand and fill it away. But a lot of times I've sanded and painted and filled and sanded and painted and filled that big red SCX6 probably 3 times. And if I sanded it or scrubbed on it again, I guarantee you the lines will show up that give it away that it was a 3D print. It's not a big deal, but I don't want to see them. So I've kind of come to terms with my own methods where I'm like, on these 3D prints, I'm going to sand them, I'm going to work them, I'm going to get them smooth. But as far as the patina stuff goes, I'm airbrushing, I'm using a brush. I'll do it kind of after the fact because I know when I try to scrub through, it doesn't matter what I do. I always get the lines. I'll show you one that really good example of this.
Welcome in, Jets Aviation. Welcome in, everybody. I see you in the chat. I see y'all. Welcome in, everybody. Shout out to everybody out there.
This one's underway. It's not done. But I've sanded it, and I've sanded it smooth. But you can see the lines in it. It's not done. Like I say, this one's under construction. But when I sand and fill and all that business, I always use different colors like the rust and the color I'm thinking about using. Because if I get lucky while I'm finishing it and I like what I see, I'm going to clear coat it and leave it alone. But
absolutely.
You can see the kind of concentric, like this piece here, this half of the roof, you can see those lines. Like they're circular. So that means that piece
circular.
Roof, yeah, it was printed like this. So this was up on the print.
Yeah. So
and then
it gotta build a platform before it build it out.
Well, yeah, because it's got to handle the curve somehow, so it steps it off like a contour map, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's like if I know I'm gonna have to, if these lines are gonna show up, and I'm gonna have to sand it and finish anyway, and I spend all this time with the support material to print it this way, but I got to sand it anyway, I'll flip it over and save the time and the support. Because what's the difference? This one was printed, this half and this half were printed completely different ways. You're still going to see the lines.
Yeah.
But if you were to feel it, it's smooth. It just, that's what I mean by the patina. It always will expose the high spots. And so no matter how smooth this is, it's hard to stop on that scrubbing to not see the lines. And, you know, just like with the airplanes, we joke people like they're rivet counters, like they're so scale, they're nuts about you got to have the right number of rivets. Everything's got to be right. You know, it's got to look like the plane and the shape has to be right, but I don't care how many rivets are on it. But man, on these trucks, I really don't want to see the lines. I don't.
Question. Did you ever try like to paint an epoxy on top of it to get the lines to make it smooth instead of sanding it down? Before you sand it down, you take epoxy, mix it up, and then you don't pour it on, because if you pour it on, it's going to be kind of thick. So you take like a brush and you brush it on and let it sit, because it's going to level out by itself. It's going to increase the weight on it slightly, but it will smooth out itself. And then you sand down the epoxy instead of sanding down the body. That might take the line out of it.
I'm gonna try that. I have tried stuff similar with urethane, and the paint goes on really thin, so you need something a little thicker body. I'm with you, and I'm getting ready to try some of that. I've done some urethane, and I've done some color stain urethane that's got a little more viscosity to it, so I feel like it's thicker. But some guys are using this kind of resin that you're gonna, I guess it's pretty nasty. I just got it in the mail today. You like paint it on, and then you UV light. I got a UV flashlight.
Yeah,
I haven't used this stuff yet, but it's supposed to be pretty awesome. And it's exactly what you're talking about, Louie, where it's going to put a thicker film on it than any urethane will do. And I have mixed up that 2-part JB Weld stuff and spread it on with like a business card or whatever. And that stuff's all right. But man, you make a lot of work for yourself. And especially with all these old trucks I like with all the curves, you make a lot of sanding work for yourself. So this stuff's supposed to be able to brush on, and then a little heat, you can maybe take the bubbles out and get it to level even better, and then hit it with that UV light and go from there. So it's all been experimentation. And I know Scale Builders Guild and some other guys are using this epoxy resin stuff. So I'm going to try it. I also got to tell you, my man, Kelly Klein, has been working it out. I just got this in the mail, same box. This is Bondo putty.
Yeah.
So this stuff's supposed to be all right too. I haven't used it yet. I've used drywall mud before, but that stuff will break out.
That's gonna break over.
It breaks out. I want to use something that's also an adhesive usually, and something like this epoxy or that 2-part JB Weld fits the bill. And I think this Bondo paste, from what Kelly's doing with his, this Bondo paste may be pretty good for that as well. Yeah, I'm trying to not make myself a lot of sanding work anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That Bondo is gonna do a lot of sanding.
Yeah, exactly. You're right about that.
Yeah, and then like in the hood where the creases at in the hood, you ain't gonna be able to get in them. You ain't gonna be able to keep your creases in the hood when you use the Bondo, unless you're gonna find where it's at and trace it out or something like that. The epoxy, when you paint it on, you could paint, get the epoxy out of the creases so it won't fill inside of there, But that Bondo, you ain't got. Yeah, that Bondo is gonna be hard to keep on the side of the body. That Bondo will be good to keep your curves. That'll be good.
And I've seen some of the scale guys. I learn a lot of techniques. If you ever watch some of the little plastic model dudes, little cars, planes, whatever, the guys that do dioramas and things like that, they got great techniques. And some of those guys are using this modeler's putty. So like in the panel lines, like you're talking about, and some of those details where you don't want anything in it, I need to get me some of that, because by the time you blow up one of these trucks that was either made to be a scale static model or a 10 scale, and we make it huge, the panel lines for the doors, they get pretty big, man. I mean, you're looking at an 1/8 of an inch. And so you don't want it to fill up too bad. You got to see this 50. You got to see this Chevy real quick. This one's under construction. That's kind of the ongoing theme around here. I really just been enjoying printing them off. And so I can't ever get nothing done.
Wow.
Yes, that's the one I saw in the video.
That thing is huge.
So Kelly and Kirk already got their 55 Chevys done, and I'm still doing mine.
So that wasn't the one on the video? That was a different one?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So me, Kirk, and Kelly, we're local, and we're all 3D printing bodies. And so it was their Land Rovers and their Chevys. I'm still working on my Chevy, and the only SCX6 that I got ready to rock is that big red International. But this one's coming. And I keep working this one. I've printed off the fenders 2 or 3 times at this point, because if you think about the 55, I see the arch is cut now. I cut it to be the same size and curve as the wheel, because if you leave it alone, it still looks fine, but you almost have to have the truck sit up a little higher to clear it, right? And then the arches look kind of small compared to the wheel. And what's been really cool about hanging out with Kirk and Kelly, and we're all, you know, sometimes we're making the same vehicle, but we go at it completely different. And so there's running boards on this one, and the files came already dialed in. Kelly had them dialed in. And at first I wasn't going to use the running boards at all, and I had it slammed. But then I had to cut out so much of this, it didn't maintain the aesthetics. And so I was like, I cut out too much. And so I took the files for the running boards and shortened them about a ½ inch or so. And then I just cut these right after work today. I still got to do the stuff on the back. You can almost see where I've sketched it out. Not very well, but this needs to be cut still. It's kind of too small of an arch, and it's not going to fit unless I cut on it. So I tend to go as low down on the chassis as I can. And the 55, when I had it slammed, it just didn't look right without the running board. So I was like, how can I do both? Have the running boards and still keep as much of the fender as I can. So the top of this arch, I didn't cut at all. I just cut out here and out here to make it big and match the size of the tire. So the goal is to make it look like I didn't cut on it, is what I'm working for here. And this is one of those 3D printed bodies that I actually use that color stain to kind of seal it up before I sanded it. So this was an espresso brown. I had to do a mantle for my wife. I know carpentry a little bit. So I had to do a mantle woodwork for my wife. And I had this, you know, I only needed the can for 2 pieces of wood. So I'm going to use it up. So I put it on this and sanded it out. It's going to be pretty smooth when it's all done. But yeah, that's the big 55. But you saw Kirk and Kelly's in the video. The gray one is Kelly's and the blue one is Kirk's.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice reads.
That's nice, man. Wow.
That thing is huge.
Hey,
right?
All I'm gonna tell you is I'm definitely gonna have to get me a 3D printer this year, fellas. It's going down. It's going down.
That's on huge. Pause.
That thing is big. Wow.
Yo, I'm telling you. Who we?
Oh,
what we got here?
Wow, what's that?
Word. That one a little bigger than the last one.
Now that might be the one I saw in the video.
Wow,
is that the one I saw in the video? It's got to be. Oh, he got the big brother and the little brother. Oh yeah,
he made it in the bigger version.
Because I'm cheap. You know, instead of buying another truck, I was like, I already got the files. I'm gonna stretch it out. I kept seeing my buddies building Land Rovers and stuff. I didn't have the file for the Land Rover. I'm like, what do I have? I got this big old Clifford, the big red dog. So yeah, this joint SDX6 coil over 4-linked out, and then this is the scale one on leafs.
Hold on. So the small one looked like about a 1/10 scale. What is that big one?
That's an SDX6.
Like 13-inch wheelbase. This is a 6 scale right here.
Whew. Wow.
So this would have been the Axial SCX6 Wrangler or Honcho. And I actually, the driver and everything is, I stole the interior out of the Wrangler to put in here and borrowed the way that Wrangler body attaches to the chassis with posts and body clips hidden out of sight. I repurposed it and used it on this one. But this is the body that I was about to throw away and managed to, I mean, it was garbage, dudes. And it looks pretty all right.
Is that the one you put the JB weld on the inside of it to hold it together?
Yeah, there was cracks and splits and all kinds of mess on this one. It was so bad at one of the doors, like the door panel line like went off at a curve like crazy because it warped so bad. I cut a curve in it over here, stretched out the panel line for the door to match up with the other one, and then filled over here. Yeah. Whatever it takes. Yeah, dude.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, that's what this hobby is all about, man. Making it work no matter what. MacGyver at you.
Yeah, man.
Hey, in the window, you already know. It's trash.
Exactly.
All right, let us see the one with the plow on it.
The
Let
which
us see
one?
your plow truck.
I'm sorry, which one?
Your plow truck.
I don't have a plow truck. That's Kelly.
Oh.
Did you see one?
I said, you got everything else. You gotta have a plow truck.
Not yet. Kelly's working on that. He had one. He's got one going. I seen him. He had his hooked up to a 6, and he was shoveling the driveway.
Wow.
Nice. Dan said Barbados Rex has a YouTube channel, has a lot of educational videos on plastic modeling that you can apply to this, apply to some of this. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's where I get a lot of ideas to try on the. I really do like the patina stuff, but man, I spend so much time sanding on this big red one that and if you guys watch some of my social, you can see this thing in different levels. I've showed pictures and short clips and even one of the videos where you can see it's the truck of many colors. You can see all kinds of mess on it. And then I got done sanding it, painting it up, and I was like, man, that just looks all right. I'm leaving it because no matter what I do, I re-expose the lines, no matter how much filling I do. Even though you don't feel the lines, you see them. And so I'm kind of crazy. So I glossed this out in red, and then I hit it with a flat matte clear and walked away, knowing I can scrub it another day if I want to be an archaeologist. But I figure if I want a patina now, I'll just do it with airbrush, brushwork, no more scrubbing. No more
Yes,
scrubbing.
sir.
Yeah.
Sergeant J said, are you in the DJI quadcopters?
I have had a couple of those, and they're fantastic. To me, they're like the plug and play, just super consumer friendly drone. You're going to pay for them.
Definitely.
But, man, they're good. I still have this one. It's no bueno. The Phantom Vision 2 Plus or whatever. Old school.
Oh yeah,
drone.
yeah. That's one of one of the OGs compared to what's out now.
And then I had the FPV DJI. The first FPV one they had before the new Avata or whatever.
Okay.
And it was bad to the bone. And I got it for video. And if you look at, when you guys have time, if you ever check out the E-Flight Draco, not the little one, but the big monster E-Flight Draco video I did, and the FMS Rafale, the first FMS Rafale video I did, because I've done a few, I had some really cool drone work in those where I was flying the drone and I had my buddy flying the plane, and we got some sick air to air. But I got to tell you a crazy story. At that same time, I had some kind of troll working against me to mess me up. And I got nervous that they were going to turn me in over that drone work. And I don't have the Part 107. If you're doing drone work for anything that could be perceived as a business,
absolutely,
you're supposed to have that 107. And YouTube, as fun as it is, if they can perceive it as a business and somebody wants to get after you, they can. So I sold it. I didn't keep that drone.
Hey, honestly, that kind of slowed me down on actually making drone videos because I start thinking about it like, yo, okay, by me flying this drone, regardless, they can say this is a business. You see what I'm saying? Just by me flying around the neighborhood, making a video, they can say I'm running a business doing this. And it kind of made me say, I'm gonna stick with the drones I got. I don't really want anymore. So if I do get any other drones, all of them gonna be under 250 grams, and we're gonna make sure that, you know.
That exactly. This was at the same time where I mean, this is crazy. Like my Pilot Ryan logo back in the day, I borrowed the font from Ray-Ban. Like I've been
Oh my God.
I've been rocking aviators and all these airplane videos and bomber jackets and stuff for so long. It's kind of part of my branding. And I had a designer make Pilot Ryan out of the Ray-Ban letters, because you can't go buy the font. They protect that IP really hard.
Mhm.
And I'm just a little channel, man, but somebody turned me in over my
Wow.
logo, and I got a letter from Bausch and Lomb, Luxottica, some lawyer in Italy or something, about that logo, my logo.
That is crazy.
I knew somebody was, they didn't just find me, man. Somebody turned them on to that.
Oh
I
yeah,
might have been
definitely.
a little too proud that was how I made my
Yeah,
logo.
it's no way they just found that. Somebody sent that to them and said, hey, look what he has.
I think so. And so I complied and it all worked out. But I was like, I've been at this YouTube since 2012. I don't want no one messing with my channel. So I quit using the drone. So eventually, after I didn't use it for a year or so, I was like, I'm going to sell this thing while I still get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got rid of that FPV, but I still want one. And I want it for surface too. Man, that
Absolutely.
reminds me, I watched a video last night on that Relarlo rally. What's that channel, man? They used a ton of drone work. They raced it against a bunch of different cars.
Pilot Rick.
Yes, that's it. Long hair don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was him. It was a good video. And dude,
oh yeah, he puts out some good videos, man. When he chased those cars with those drones, that is a whole nother level. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Test, and that thing kept on ticking. I like rally cars, and that Relarlo did its thing, man.
Yeah, I was supposed to go down to Georgia and collaborate with him last weekend, but of course I had some emergencies and didn't get a chance to make it.
Don't give up on that. That'll be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the first time I had seen him. And man, they put that show out like it was on Netflix or something. I thought I was watching legit TV. He does a good job emceeing through that and give you enough stuff to.
And he has the radio voice to go along with it too. So
yeah,
he definitely got the voice box to go along with it, guys. I can tell you that. Oh man, shout out to the 41 still in the house, man. You guys are awesome, man. Let me see where we at with the questions. I think Linden, you next. You got anything? Or was it Louie? I think it was Linden.
Yeah, I got some. Hold on, let me find my question list.
Oh, I can do this one real quick while you do that. Sorry. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you need do you need a license or a permit to fly airplanes?
Let me just start off with a kind of a yes. So these days, man, we got way more rules than we ought to have. So I'm not going to editorialize, but I'll tell you right now, the FAA has these kind of regulations in place where you're supposed to have, that's where you come in talking about that 250 grams. Because if you're over 250 grams, you're supposed to have a remote ID module in your aircraft so they know where you're at and who you are. So to be completely in compliance, if you're flying random somewhere public like a park or a school, by rights and regs, you should have remote ID, which also implies that you're registered as a UAV pilot in that FAA database. So you don't need a license, but they want you to be registered. If you're a YouTuber, I hate to even say it out loud, man, because it's like they don't know yet, right? They figure out somebody to make an example of. But by their own rules, if they want to stick you to it, if they want you to have that 107 license, if they perceive what you're doing as commercially viable, which same as in furtherance of a business. So if they want to be technical about the definition, they can call this YouTube stuff that.
Okay.
To me, I feel like people who intend to monopolize on the airspace should incur the cost and nuisance of compliance, not the person who's minding their own business somewhere.
Yeah.
So the one way around the regulations, though, is if you're flying at what they call a sanctioned AMA club, like the RC club that you see in my videos and stuff. If I go to the RC club, it's what they call a FRIA, which somehow means, I can't remember the breakdown, but like federally recognized something airspace. Anyway, if I'm flying at my club, I don't need that remote ID. But if I'm making YouTube and they want to be a stickler, I still should have a 107. And that's regardless of the drone thing or not. That's just flying anything.
Anything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew,
hey, they're gonna make some rules for y'all. Y'all with these 100 miles an hour RC cars, they're gonna make some rules for y'all soon too. Don't worry, they coming.
That's the thing. Nobody ever bothers me when I fly my trucks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, we got one from Matthew Senior real quick. Let's get this one. Do you have or like comp style crawlers? All I see behind you are scale looking crawlers.
Great question. I really do like the scale ones. I like making the scale ones perform better than they should. It's all about center of gravity on these things. So I'm still using some of the comp mentality, but that's why you see me slamming them down all the time. The CJ7, I slammed it a ½ inch right out of the box without even changing the shocks. Cost me 4 screws and 4 washers. So the straight axles have their own perch where the shocks mount. But if you bring it down and share the mount location with the links, you can drop that whole body about a ½ inch. So instantly I'm performing better with a scale truck. I do like the old school trucks and the kind of scale stuff. That straight axle mod I did on the CJ7, I did the same thing on the discontinued Bronco. You can't get anymore. It's on the 3rd shelf. My race cars are around here too. But for me, crawling, it hit me by mistake. I never thought in a million years. If you told me that I'd be going slow on purpose, I would have thought you were out of your mind. But I got a chance as... You know, I used to get fed a lot of product from companies, and one of the airplane companies, FMS, my first crawler they ever sent me was this Willys Jeep, 1941 Willys Jeep. And to me, it looked really scale. I didn't know anything about crawling, but I didn't think it would perform very well. But I didn't want to talk out of the side of my face, so I got a deadbolt that was a dedicated crawler. While I was waiting on that one to show up at the beginning of COVID time, everything got crazy. And I was surprised how much I liked it. And so I've been with the scale stuff though, ever since and so if somebody told me, for me, the comps, they like time them. And for me, crawling is like Calgon for dudes, like take me away. I'm chilling. I'm in the zone. I tell the little kids that the floor is lava, your tires are toes. tiptoe to the next highest thing, and you'll keep from getting the bottom hung up. And so it's just so chill for me that I haven't really ever wanted to do official comps, although I think we are all competitive with each other when we go out anyway, but it's just not timed. So I would like to have the H10 optic from Vanquish, and I'm trying to decide if I get the RTR or the kit. And Night Customs just came out with some files that make it look like an old school Volkswagen Bug, and that's what put me over the fence. So I'm going to take a comp looking rig and still try to make it look scale. So I kind of, scale's kind of my thing.
Awesome.
Good question.
Who go is it? Let Louie. It's Louie.
Can we see some of your planes?
Yeah. They're all over the channel. I mean, since 2012, airplane videos have been happening. But a couple of new ones I just built and set up on the stream the other day.
Yeah, I see them on the channel, but you know, probably people out there ain't see some of your good ones. I know you're gonna grab the good ones. Your favorites.
This is the good ones are huge. This is a little 64 millimeter 4S E-Flight Viper 64. So this actually's got lights all over it out of the box, and it's got, you can see the suspension on the nose wheel, and the mains have trailing links, 4S power, but no retracts, but it does have flaps. So kind of basic, you know, but this is a sport jet instead of a scale jet. So this Viper shape is meant to fly well. I've got the 64 Viper, the 70 millimeter Viper, and the 90 millimeter Viper, and they're dope. When I flew the 90 millimeter Viper, I set up reverse thrust by accident on the same switch as safe. And in the video, I'm flying upside down, and I'm like, hey, Ma, look, no hands. And I flip the switch to roll that thing over, because if you're upside down and you flip in safe, it's going to level. So I'm like, check this out. It's one of the things I just kind of do in the video. I don't really need safe, but I like to show what it can do, because if you're making a video, it makes sense to show what it can do. So I'm upside down. I'm like, check this out. And I flip safe in because I know it's going to roll it around, and I do that all the time. But as it rolled it around, it also reversed the spin of the engine. So I hit the brakes and rolled it over at the same time on the Viper 90, and 10 feet away from saying goodbye to $600. That's all I got to say. But I got lucky. I got lucky and I saved it. But when they come across a good flying airframe, they tend to make multiple. So there's 3 different sizes of this thing right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if you ever saw a smaller one of this. But yeah, pretty basic, no retracts. I got this one's cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the 43 watching, man. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Pilot Ryan special, guys. This is the Pilot Ryan takeover, guys. By the way, this is the Pilot Ryan takeover. Ooh, wait, look at that one.
Ooh, I like that one.
This thing is that FMS Rafale. And so the shape of this thing, they call it a delta wing because it doesn't have a conventional tail. So it's got this huge, big triangle wing. And these are called canards. And we can hardly wait to fly this again once it gets warm outside. Sorry, I had to. But yeah, this got the retracts are tucked up inside. You can't even see the landing gear because they clean up so nice. You flip a switch, they go inside, and you get to fly this thing clean. But what's neat about this is my favorite delta wing jet that's out there. And what's really cool about these, you got to think about how much wing area there is right there, right?
Mhm.
So one of my favorite things to do with these is to fly it slow. They call it high alpha. So you put the nose up and then you just push through with the power so it doesn't fall out of the sky. And the trick is to fly it as slow as you can at the craziest angle possible, like this. And it's just cool. So in the videos that I've done a handful of videos on this jet on the channel, you're going to see a lot of that high alpha business. And honestly, there's some of my favorite videos that I've made out of all of them is some of the stuff we've done with these. And that first one with the drone work, the air-to-air shots, pretty epic. And a lot of military jets, they're gray or they're camouflage and they're cool, but a little bit hard to see. This being crazy yellow is it definitely helps. And this is a military jet. This is a French FMS Rafale, and a company named Dassault, Dassault, makes these in real life. But yeah, this is a military jet, believe it or not. But this thing is wicked, dude. And this is somebody remind me, my airplane guy, is this an 80 millimeter EDF or a 90? I think it's an 80, isn't it? And then I have a guy, a friend of mine, I think that's an 80. But my buddy, RC Geek, who actually used to work in aerospace before he worked in RC, he designed these nozzles in the back, which throttle down the thrust in a Venturi style shape that's aerodynamically like perfected. And so I have flown a bunch of these Rafales with and without these extra little bits. And it's crazy the difference it makes having them. So before I put in those nozzles, when I was pushing high alpha, it took almost full throttle to keep the plane going. And I would, the flight times suffer when you're like that. And then you put in these nozzles, and instead of pushing full power, you can hang out around like half throttle, a little more than that. It sounds better, it's more efficient, and you get more flight time. It really all does add up. And so, yeah, RC Geek 3D printed nozzles. If you got this plane, you want those nozzles. I'm telling the truth.
Wow. Big Easy said, Pilot Ryan, why do the instructions say if you can fly a drone, you can fly a plane? I can't fly a drone. That is too funny.
What instructions say that?
Big Easy said, Pilot Ryan, why do the instructions say if you can fly a drone, you can fly a plane? I can't fly a drone.
I don't know. I think somebody needs to rewrite those instructions. You know, drones and helicopters are more similar than planes are, right? So
Yeah.
with the drones and the helicopters, it makes sense how they work, right? You can take off straight up and hang out. The planes, they got to have airflow over the surfaces, or it doesn't matter what you do. So there's something to these planes, whether it's a jet or a plane, that's magical and different than, I mean, the helicopter blades and the drone blades, they're all part of the same physics, but just the way it's configured, it generates its own lift, even standing still, without being reliant upon some kind of forward trajectory or wind speed to keep the wings working. It doesn't matter how good the steering is. If there's no airflow over the wing, you're done. And that's why we talk about wing loading and keeping airplanes light, because the lighter weight an airplane has, whether it's a model or for real, the slower you can go with it. And if the plane will let you go slow, you're less liable to crash it. So that means that when the airflow breaks up and the wing stalls, you're going way slower when it happens. If an airplane is heavy, or like a more advanced plane, or like a warbird, or something's just a heavier plane, it's got a higher stall speed because it's heavier and it has to go faster to keep flying. So that's why you'll find beginner planes a lot of times are really meant to be and designed to be as lightweight as possible. And again, to me, equating the drone experience to a plane is a little bit of a misnomer. I think what they're speaking to is the similarity of the controls, the way it works left and right and up and down, but it doesn't speak at all to the necessity for some kind of forward movement on a thing with wings.
It definitely, because taking off and landing is a whole nother ball game.
These planes, even the slow ones, gobble up a lot of real estate. That's why people find trees all the time, because before you know it, you've gone 100 yards.
Listen,
you know,
I had a FMS Blue Jay, and guess what I did? It was brand new in the box, and guess what? Somebody else got it brand new in the box from me. I never even opened it, never even attempted to open it. Well, I mean, thinking back on it now, I should have kept it, and just said, hey, if I crash it, I crash it. But, I was just more in fear of crashing it because I've gotten on the simulator, and whoo-wee, every time my plane turned into toothpicks when I land. Now, I can take off, I can fly around, but when I get ready to land, toothpicks everywhere. Toothpicks everywhere.
It's hard, and that's why the simulators are amazing, because it's just like when you get offed in a video game, you just hit the respawn button and there you go.
Exactly.
It's like with the simulator for the RC, it's like you get to hit that respawn $300 button, respawn $500 button. And I remember working at a hobby shop, how many people thought the planes looked cool, but they were afraid. Because you already know you're going to crash it. If you don't come at it with experience or somebody to help you get there, you look at the price tag on a plane, no matter how cool you think it is, and you're like, you already know. So it's
Absolutely.
a different kind of mindset. And the thing about the simulator is priceless, because you really do get to build up some muscle memory and practice. And
absolutely.
The landings, it's the transition. It's all the transition between the wind is working to hold this wing up to now there's not enough speed for it to fly. And you got to try to time that all out to come together in one spot. Because if you come to the ground really fast, you're still flying, you're going to skip. You really should go around. If you come too slow, it's the same problem too. You got no control. So it's all got to come together in one kind of spot. And those things are great to practice on a simulator or up high. The real flight simulator, RC HOTSPOT, is what we're using. And you should come by Wild Bill's live stream on Monday night. They do a real flight fly-in.
I told them they don't pay attention. They don't pay attention to come to Wild Bill's real fly. I gave them listen, let me give y'all the live stream lineup one more time. Where's my paper at? Bam.
I finally got my real flight dialed in so I could hop in on that show. The last couple weeks I've been there.
Live stream lineup. Monday night, Wild Bill real flight. Also Monday night is Operation 11 Charlie. Tuesday night, of course, the Fun Zone. Wednesday night is Just Bashinit. Thursday night is the Fun Zone Pilot Ryan. Friday night is Jeff from Lower Alabama. Sunday night is Pilot Ryan and the Fun Zone once again, guys. So those are the channels you need to go hang out at. That's a good place to hang out, man. Trust me. Hey, because when they be over there flying on Monday night, I just sit there and just be watching. I be like, man, one day, buddy, don't worry. I'm coming back. I'm coming. Let me take care of a couple of these bills I got going on, get these Typhons finished. Ooh-wee, because they, listen, ooh-wee. Hey, wait till y'all see Typhon number 2. I got something real special. Y'all gonna be like, this guy right here. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I'm fixing up a Typhon myself right now.
Awesome.
For 8 scale season. I'm gonna race my 6S Typhon. I got the Losi Truggy, which is like a Creighton on a diet, driving a cloud. The Losi ready to run Truggy, fantastic. It's nearly as good as the kit. Dude, I won second in my first race with that thing. But I'm fixing up my 6S Typhon, so I don't have to buy a buggy. I'm fixing up my 6S Typhon to be my e-buggy A scale this year for outside.
Now, just bashing it is Wednesday, Fred. Unless he got a new date. He's normally been Wednesday. We got a couple of questions in the chat. Matthew Senior said, "What are your thoughts on celebrities that are into RC planes? It's kind of funny to me because they didn't start with a budget RC."
Funny and brutal, right? I mean, I think I could think of one right away, right? Tyler Perry.
I knew you were talking about him. Listen, I was trying to get it out of my mouth. I said, I know that's who we're gonna say because those planes that guy has, out of this world. But go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
This is another realm of reality. Dude's got full-time employment working.
Yes, maintaining the planes.
That runway he's got, that garage building for his planes is nicer than any place we all live if you put them all together. And that's just good for him. I can't even talk about myself in the same breath. That Ramy RC is doing some fantastic work for him. And it's really cool to see a guy like Ramy RC, who had his own YouTube channel, making this stuff from scratch, make such an impact and a name for himself that he gets picked up by a cat like Tyler, who can continue what Ramy's still doing the work, still getting to make the planes. He's doing it for somebody, but what a budget that he's got. I think it's good. I don't think it makes it look very accessible to the masses, but I always feel like anything to shine a light on the hobby is a good thing. I mean, even like the Warbird Gasser guys are out of my league, right? I'm flying foamies, dude. We call ourselves foamy homies. Like, I feel like we're recreational hobbyists. I don't have more than 6 bills into one of these planes, but some guys, they're getting them empty for $6K before they ever put the power system in it. It's just not in my league. And so I'm glad that fancy stuff happens. I don't think it's super relatable, but it's super cool.
Definitely.
I like it when I see Dude Perfect playing with Traxxas stuff or whatever too. Anytime anybody who's not in RC shines a light on it, I always think that's a good thing, whether it's surface or air.
Yes. Big Easy said, Pilot Ryan, that it was the E-Flight Cirrus SR22T. I can't believe they put that misleading information in there about if you can fly a drone, you can fly a plane.
I mean, they're speaking to a captive audience. I mean, if you're into flying, it's not a far stretch. It's not like saying if you're into bass fishing, you're going to love this basher.
Oh, yeah.
It's somewhat related. I haven't seen, I see what he's saying though. But it's not that far of a stretch. I mean, both those things fly,
Yeah. Let me see. Fred said all planes have an expiration date. You just don't know when it is. LOL.
That's right. and good thing that the flight times are only like, depending on what you're flying, people who don't know flying feel like when we say 5 to 10 minutes isn't very long. With a jet, it's usually 3 to 5 minutes, depending on if you're going to milk it or not. That seems like it's not very long. But I always say it like this. 5 minutes is an awfully long time to hold your breath, because a lot of times it can be nerve-wracking, especially if it's a new plane or something like that. So, and also, besides going blue after holding your breath for 5 minutes because of the pucker factor of flying, you also have the potential to get stupid after 5 minutes and start doing dumb stuff. So I've had buddies that say, I'm glad this thing only goes 5 minutes because I'm going to start getting stupid if I get any longer flight time. So the fact that it's time to bring it home and land it is kind of okay, because all of a sudden you maybe start to get bored and think, hey, it's time to try that upside down thing or whatever.
Hey, I know exactly what you mean, because I was out with my Losi Pro Moto, my rep yesterday.
I got to see that.
Big air, baby. Hey, that thing got wings.
I just saw
Hey,
that
I might have to put some propellers on that Pro Moto, man. We're gonna try to send that thing to the moon.
You guys got me inspired to get my bachelor's back out. I got my Creighton out to the skate park on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of Creighton you got?
6S.
Ooh, you got the big boy. You got the big boy. See, I got the small fry. I got the 4S. I got the small fry.
That thing's no 4S, me too. Hey, I got some Instagrams where I sent that 4S joint.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm definitely gonna check them out.
I used to be heavy in the reels for a while. And that's the thing, man. I've been since 2012. I don't know how many times I've burnt out, but I just won't go away. I've tried it all, man. I've done a bunch of it. But if you go scrolling through the reels, you'll see some it's kind of all right, some of that stuff.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean about sometimes you burn out or whatever, or just get tired and just walk away for a little while, take a break. Because I actually got about 4 other channels. Tire on 2 wheels. That's a real motorcycle channel.
Sick.
Then I got my auto detailing business. That's a channel. Then of course this one. Then I got like a little family channel where we put stuff up. But the family channel is just really starting, like 100 subscribers. The other 2, over 2,000. I mean, all 3 of them over 2,000.
That's awesome. I knew you knew your stuff on YouTube because I hear, my problem is I know, but I just don't execute, man. I've been at it too long. I can't make excuses. It's there if you want it. But there's been times where I've really given it the go. And people who last on YouTube, they either make it so good where you can't afford to leave it, or it's real and it doesn't matter what happens, they're gonna weather the storm and stick around. So it's I feel like I've been close to the sun a couple times in a way, and even opportunities and this and that and other companies I made videos for a while where, man, I about had me full-time job making videos, and it didn't work out. I didn't take the job. I didn't move. But it's, if you make it and you stick around, it's not easy. So it speaks to how real it is, or you are, right? When you stick around, because I've seen a lot, you probably have too, a lot of people come and go and have high hopes and expect this or that. And hey, take a number, man. It ain't happening. It ain't easy. You gotta not only stick it out, but you gotta be dope.
Yeah. You gotta make your channel stand out. Like, just like I tell everybody, man, if you're looking at your channel and your channel not getting the views you want, not getting the traction you want, you might need to look at your video and critique your own video. You got to turn into your biggest critic. You got to look at it and say, what can I do better? And then not only that, sometimes you have to go look at other people for inspiration. I'm not saying go copy exactly what they're doing, but go look at their channel for inspiration. They may have a different camera angle that you're using. They may have a audio better. They may have better editing. They may have anything. You know what I mean? The lighting may be better. The color grade may be better. Anything. But when you look at it, you say, oh, let me try to work on that and see what happens. And trust me, a lot of times it will change the outlook on your channel. It'll make it move a lot differently, move a lot faster and things like that.
You're right. You already know. And I do too. I just don't do it. And at a point, I think you have to decide what you want out of it. You know, do I want to just record my thing? It is what it is. I'm putting it out there, almost for posterity, whatever. Or am I like going hard? And if you're going hard, you're going to make it paced. Your thumbnails need to be like branded. You're doing it. You're doing a great job. I'm trying. You're doing awesome. You're putting out your streams ahead of time. I've been doing this thing on the live stream 6 years and YouTube since 2012. I have never scheduled a live yet. I'm the worst.
Linden caught me the other day. I was scheduling them, and I talked to Linden, and Linden was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "What's going on?" I look, dude. I scheduled the whole month of live streams, and they were showing up. I meant to have them private, but all of them showed up in the news feed. I said, "Oh, I probably lost 2 or 3 subscribers because I filled up the news feed." They probably like, "What is this guy doing?"
You know, I had somebody complain to me one time. I was running a Facebook page for the Air Club, and dude complained to me like, "Man, I'm gonna have to unfollow the page. You put out too much stuff." I don't want you here anyway.
Yeah, if you're saying something like that, I mean,
I don't want you here anyway. Like, all right, man, peace out. But yeah, you already know thumbnails. There's all these metrics that go into. They talk algorithm, this and that. It boils down to don't suck, be likable, offer something a little different, be real, have fun doing it. But underneath it all, don't suck. And then also play into the game. Branded thumbnails, consistently do your thing, and just don't ever stop, you know, and then pace the videos, because you got the subscribers are great, but if they're not watching, it's
absolutely
like sometimes are still in the old mind frame where some companies who don't really understand necessarily social look at subscriber count and they make all their decisions off of that. What you really want is an engaged channel. Subs are great, but if they're not watching, what's the point, right? So
exactly.
YouTube is looking at engagement. Subscriber numbers we all want them. I do too.
Absolutely.
But it's a little bit a metric that I'm not going to say it's going to go away. I don't think it ever will, but it becomes less and less important. And once people learn how to hack the algorithm figures out how to hack that. You know?
Yeah, because it's people out here with, it's people that got over 30,000 subscribers, and people with under 500 got more traction than them because they more consistent, the videos are better, the editing is better, the thumbnails are better, and everything, but they don't realize it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to look and see. That's why I say, man, if your channel's not doing what you want, look around at somebody else. Don't copy exactly what they're doing, but see what they're doing and say, what can I implement that they're using to implement on my channel to make my channel do better? You know? But the editing is number one.
And you can't hate either when people pass you up, because it's gonna happen.
No, exactly. Do you know how many people because listen, Rec RC, I was way ahead of Rec RC. Rec RC had, when I started following him, I think 300 subscribers. Then he jumped to like 700. Boom, then he jumped to 1,000. Then after he hit 1,000, 5,000, now 10,000, and he's still moving. I'm like, hoo-wee. He is doing his thing, but guess what? He's putting in the work. He's putting in excellent videos. The editing is out of this world. The thumbnails are nice. Of course, he has the radio voice, you know. So, everything, it's a lot of things working for him, you know. So, like I said, I just got to take my time, up my game a little bit. You know, I've been trying to up it here and there just a little bit, you know, did my little audio, got my Rode mics, got my ramp. I'm not telling you to go buy all this stuff I got. No, I'm not. But what I'm telling you is it kind of helped me, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to invest in yourself. That's what I mean. That's another thing. You have to invest in yourself sometimes.
One of the best things and you don't need to have a bunch of stuff, but when it's time, get it. When I made videos for Motion RC for 5 years, and when I had a cameraman, and it was pretty awesome. And when I left, I was basically on my own to kind of find a cameraman again. I've been through a few of them. And one of the best things I did was buy myself a dope camera. And for the planes, you really need one because you got to zoom.
Yeah, exactly. That's you got to have one of those.
Yes, on the cars, a phone, a GoPro, you're in the game. But with the planes, you really need to be able to zoom. And it makes a statement when you level up and buy things like that. Big Jim, man, he's out of his mind. These guys have been with me forever, man.
Oh man, I love it, man. I love it, man. Y'all know where y'all at, man. Y'all in the fun zone where we can laugh at each other, man. We love to laugh and joke, man. Shout out to y'all, man.
I was looking for. I always feel bad talking too much, but I was looking forward to get into this a little bit, and YouTube.
No, we enjoy it. Listen, when the people come over here, I want them to talk. I want them to feel comfortable. You know, only reason I started doing the putting the people on solo, so the audience can get a good look at the person that's talking, so they can feel more familiar with the person that's talking and things like that. You know, that's all. And then I just wanted to change the show up a little bit because, of course, I'm my worst critic, and then my wife and my nephew, geez Louise, they get on me all the time about the show. Trust me, they are my critics. When things change around here, trust me, it's not always from other people. Sometimes it's from Ikonz, Louie, Linden, you know, the guys on the panel. But sometimes it's my wife and my nephew. I'm telling you. And hey, and I say, hey, let's see what it's going to, you know, implement it a little bit, and then hey, it is what it is, you know.
You guys are working it out, and one thing I always wished I was better at, when I initially started the live stream, I really intended to have on a guest all the time, but I've only done a handful of interview shows because I'm a piece of garbage trash. I just show up at 9 or whatever, you know, I'm generally the same time, but dude, I feel like the live streams were new when I jumped on them. At first I was going to do a podcast, and then I was like, that doesn't make sense to ask all these people who already know me for video to just go listen to a dude talk about something you should be looking at. So
absolutely.
I was like, let's just keep it all in one spot. And I went to, I started doing a live stream, and it's 6 years ago or something. And it still sucks, but I just won't go away. That's that's what I bring to the table. Me, Keith Richards, and the cockroaches. We ain't going nowhere.
Hey, that's the plan. That is the plan. Not to go anywhere. Continue to keep doing. Continue to strive for greatness, and continue to elevate and go to the next level, man. Hey, because I got some plans,
you guys, man. I sit here in this room and I work and wrench, and I was YouTubing it. I don't watch TV because I just YouTube whatever, and I come across you guys, and there's having a group is something I wish I had. I mean, I got a great group of folks, but man, I just riff off the comments all the time, and you got a good thing going. That's what I'm trying to say, man. I think we all enjoy it. I think it's great what everybody brings to the table. I love you having the panel all the time. And I've been watching, I honestly don't watch any RC, but I've been watching some of y'all and getting back into seeing what's going on. Cause I just do my thing and then I put it out, but I really don't watch. I watch a bunch of conspiracy junk and weird things. So I watch y'all live streams, and I check out a couple live streams during the week. I usually will watch Harley and Scale Builders Guild on Wednesday, and then I'm in your room if I'm not doing my own show. And then I hang out on Monday with the Real Flight if I got my machine working. But I've been watching some of you guys, and I really like. I think you guys are, and like you say, studying the YouTube up. I think you're really onto it with the comparison stuff and just really anything you're doing. But you guys can tell when you look at the numbers, people want to see those comparison videos. Hotspot took out that Corrali thing that I can't say the name of. I don't know how to say it. Kagama.
Oh yeah, Kangama.
Yeah,
you said it right.
Whatever. And then he put it up against the Creighton. That was awesome. And I was getting ready to watch the unboxing, and I got sidetracked by like lizard people or something. But I was getting ready to watch Linden's Relarlo rally car unboxing. Have you run it yet?
No, I haven't even run it yet.
That thing looks good. Have you ever seen that rally car that HPI made, that Subaru?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, I want that car bad. That one with the gold wheels.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They got two of them. One's a little bigger, and then the other one's not.
The other one,
That Relarlo reminded me. It looked like it was built as good as that HPI. That HPI was dynamite with sway bars and all. Yeah. I like me some rally cars. Some of the most fun I ever had was with a rally car. Check this story out real quick. We're at a RC air show in Alabama. Everybody's on the runway running 100-mile-an-hour cars. We bought 3 or 4 Traxxas rally cars at a hobby shop in town because we were going to run them that night. Everybody's running 100-mile-an-hour cars on the runway. And then I get out this 2S brushed motor Traxxas rally car, and I'm like, this is the worst money I've ever spent in my life. And it's all context. I'm going to turn this around. It's all the context. So after going 100 miles an hour with everything, I'm like, this is the stupidest money I've ever spent. What the hell? And then later that night, though, we unpacked the other 2 or 3, and then we kind of just etched out some goofy course around the pits, the fence, the stooge, the manhole cover, whatever. Bro, the most fun I've ever had in my life with RC was with that piece of garbage 2S brush motor rally car. I ain't gonna lie. And it was racing with dudes, racing with folks, right? Some of the most fun. So it doesn't matter if it's a rally car, a Typhon, a Sinton, a Fury. I think it's so much fun when you can bring other folks into it. And the thing about the rally car is it's a rally car. It's about context. Like if you got a Creighton, you want to send it, you want to get some altitude, you need your Sky ID, right? But a rally car, all you got to do is hit a bump on the sidewalk and get that high, and it's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna run that rally car though. Real soon. I'm gonna run it.
I'm looking forward to it. That thing looks good. It made me want to. I tell you what, I'm about to email Relarlo and be like, "Hey, do you guys know who I am? I was just on the Urban Legend RC YouTube live. You better recognize."
Hey, make it happen. Make it happen.
Make it happen, man.
Hey, all they can say is no.
Trust me. Hey, that's why I tell everybody all the time. That's all anybody can say is no. That's all anybody can say is no. That's why I don't mind asking anybody to come up here for an interview. I've asked several people. All they can do is tell me no. That's all they can tell me. They can either tell me no or don't respond. You can pick which one you want.
Yeah.
But guess what I'm gonna do? Guess what I'm gonna do regardless? Double back and ask you again.
Yo, they can say yeah too.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking for the yes, but the worst they can say is no. You know what I mean?
Same with sponsors and stuff. You know, it never hurts to ask them.
Yeah, because I just made a post and said who's next for the interviews. I got on my list. I got CCXRC, Guru's World, JTRC, Scale Builders Guild, Harley Design, Adams Playground, Adventure Time RC, Poor Boys RC, Perf West RC, and Tomley RC. Let's see who take the bait. Shout out to y'all because one of y'all are watching right now. Shout out to y'all. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Hey, and every now I tell you keep it up, it'll happen for you. Y'all are doing it. It's fun. It is no lie, the fun zone. And what a hell of an MC you are, Ty. And then the rest of everybody, man. Louie's doing his thing with the lights.
Yeah, Louie is doing it up with those light kits.
You got a panel who's bringing the value, and the value is, I call this stuff like infotainment. Like you want somebody to spill the beans on the tech a little bit to the thing, but you want to see somebody work it out and have some fun with it. And I think that's why Relarlo guy I saw, was it Rec RC? That video hit so good because he actually put it to the test. Just like when Hotspot put the two cars up against each other. And Phillysword did something similar to the other day, where it's like a comparison thing. And I think people really like seeing those things up against something else.
Yo,
more
my bad.
Fun with it. And we all know influencers out there who got big numbers and they take the dopest thing there is and all they do is speed run. Okay, but y'all been doing this for how long? And you still don't know how to work the throttle and land on the wheels and stuff. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying,
right?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot harder jumping a car than many people realize. Honestly, getting it to turn around and land correctly, learning air control. Honestly, it's pretty tough. It took me a little while, but that motorcycle thing, that was a whole nother level. That was my first time jumping my bike. So, hey, if y'all look at the beginning of the video, I won't landing on the wheels, but closer to the end, I start landing on the wheels. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's a learning curve. Anytime you send something off the ramp, it's a learning curve. You know, you got to figure out.
I saw that promoter. I saw that video. I was like, oh, he took it. He took it out. Yo, that was sweet when you did the flip, though. I was like, whoa. I never got mine to flip.
And you know what? You know how it did that flip? The same way I was telling, shout out to RC Rhodes. He was asking me, how did I do my front flip with my granite a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago. What I do is, long as the car is doing a wheelie when it's coming into the ramp, long as it's doing a wheelie, you can either get it to the front flip or back flip. Super easy. As soon as you get on the top of the ramp, you hit the brake, it's going to front flip. You dump the throttle once you get on the ramp, it's going to back flip. Either way. And that's basically what happened with the motorcycle. The motorcycle was up like this. Once it got up on the ramp, I gave it more gas and it went ahead and did a backflip.
That was a sweet video right there. I was like, oh. I didn't get the comment because I was at work. No, I was driving when I was watching.
Yeah, I watched that, Joe, man. I was like, man, about freaking time.
You heard me, right?
I love it. And look, Linden been telling me the whole time, man, when we gonna get a motorcycle video? When we gonna get a video of that pro moto? Like literally every night after the live stream, just about. He's like, what car you gonna run? Man, when we gonna get the video of the pro moto? I can't do nothing but laugh. I'm like, yo, I drive it like every 2 to 3 days, but I just don't make a video. Because the video I wanted to make, I can't make it yet until I get something else. Once this little thing come in, watch. I'm gonna make the video that I want to make. Y'all gonna be like, oh, that's why he didn't want to make the video. Look, this is what he was waiting on. Yes, this was what I was waiting on. Because I tried it a different way. I ain't gonna let the cat out of the bag. I tried something and it didn't work. Tried something else, that didn't work. So I figured out just buy something and it's on the way. So don't worry. Give me a couple more days. I'm gonna have a fire one out, Linden. Fire.
He got a ramp coming.
Oh no. Oh, we definitely gonna get another ramp. I was gonna buy one of those KD RC ramps, those foldable ones from they sell up in Canada. But I decided, bro, Revelation RC told me that ramp is perfect, but it's perfect and portable. But once you get those bigger cars, those 8S cars, and start hitting it, that thing, the back legs tend to bend. So I said, hold on. That red ramp is built for it tough. Buy another one of them and sit it beside it. It is what it is. Call it a day. You ain't gonna have to worry about nothing bending, folding, or nothing.
Yeah. I remember when I was trying to figure out how everybody was flying these trucks when I was first getting into bashers, and I'm watching these videos and you hear the throttle inputs, and I hadn't put 2 and 2 together yet. And then I saw some dude had a video in near a barn, really basic, but the dude was sending it. And he said one thing that was like the eureka moment. And it's obvious to most people that are smarter than me, which is about everybody. But He said they do in the air the same thing they do on the ground. So when you give it the gas, wheelie.
Yeah.
It's going to do it in the air. When
Mm-hmm.
you get out of the power, brake, the nose is going to dig. So that's all it took. Once I heard that dude say they do the same thing in the air they do on the ground, I was like, bet.
Hey, he did not lie. Hey,
Yeah.
because you're right. If you think about it, the same thing it does on the ground, it does in the air, but it does it faster. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. It does it faster. So if you hit, all I tell you is stay away from the brake when you're in there, unless you have to hit it. Sometimes you gotta tap the brake just to bring that nose down a little bit and try to get it to land properly.
That's right.
But a lot of times, man, that brake will send that thing nose diving so fast. You'll be in the air sailing. You hit that brake, that thing just nose dive straight to the ground. Boom.
I have only done front flips by mistake because I'm scared of them. I'll tell you why. When you do a backflip, you got all that gyro of the wheels.
Yeah, you know what's coming.
It's locking it in though. It's a gyroscope, 4 of them. On the front flip, most of the time you're doing it with the brake. You're not actually in reverse, unless you're Kamikaze RC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
So it can get out of shape quick on a front flip because you don't have that spinning gyro, 4 spinning gyros. So I'm scared to death of front flips because I just can't control. I can do my back flips.
Listen, this is what you do. Come into your ramp going very slow. Just do a wheelie. You can go into the ramp going slow. Just start maybe 2-3 feet away from the ramp. Make sure the car is wheeling. Once it gets up to the top of that ramp, tap that front brake. That car is going to rotate quickly and land on those wheels. Trust me. Very quickly.
I'm ready to try it. I just got to make sure, I hadn't had the Creighton out for a while. And so I took it easy, when I was first learning how to bash, I think everybody's a little too trigger happy. And
we all are. We all are. I know I am.
Hitting the spine and coming over, transition like an old man bashing. But now that I have done some racing,
I'll be right back.
Like 2-wheel drive buggy and short course. And when you come up to the ramp, especially with the short course, because the body wants to parachute, you got to get out of the gas before you hit that apex of the ramp, just like what you're talking about, kind of very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I want to try me a front flip, I'm going to have to treat my car like it's 2-wheel drive in my mind. And I'm scared of them, but I'll get me a front flip. I want to get good at it because backflips are easy once you can do them.
But backflips are super easy. It's the front flips that are harder than anything. But I mean, because there's so many ways you can do a front flip. Because if you watch Thunder RC, he uses like a bump ramp. So basically, sometimes he's wheeling when he comes into it, and sometimes he's not. I think he has like a tire or a ball up underneath that piece of wood, so it automatically bumps it anyway. When he hit it, it kind of bumps it anyway. So he just hit the brake, and it automatically does the flip. But he normally comes in pretty hot on his runs. Like when he jumps, he's coming in pretty hot.
I did it with an X-Max in the X-Max video I did. It was a while ago. I did a front flip. It was perfect, but it was 100% by accident. No lie. It was a total accident, man. I nailed it, but it was a total accident. And I guarantee you, I just got out
the first time I did a front flip, it was by accident as well. But once I realized what I did, I said, hold on, let me try it again. And then it started being consistent. I said, oh, that's the secret to this. A slight wheelie, if those front wheels are off the ground, trust me, when it goes up that ramp, you tap that front brake, it's going to end over end.
Yeah, that's a good approach. Because that gives you a little bit more forward momentum starting with that kind of from that wheelie stance.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just flying it regular and hoping. Because, man, I see this stuff get out of shape sometimes. I think if you can really start that front flip off the top of the ramp, you've got a better shot of it being in shape instead of just like tumbling like crazy.
Exactly.
Get out of shape.
Yeah, because really, like when I'm wheeling, as soon as those front wheels reach the edge of that ramp and the car's up in the air, I immediately hit that front brake and it just like throws it over. Do I have a video of that? J-Man says, Ty, I never knew that. I'm gonna try it. Yes, sir. You definitely can try it, man. It works. Trust me. Check out RC Roads. I told him how to do it. He's a front flip maniac.
Nice. I got some of those reels I have are my other. It's not all me. A lot of times it was if we were out bashing and there'd be a handful of us, cool things were happening. And I'm like, I'm not stingy, man. I'm getting my camera out. I'm gonna film this because
Exactly.
They're like one after the other nailing front flips with a fire team. I'm like, I'm getting this. Like we sent some stuff on that on them reels. 8S stuff. I mean, whatever. I sent the Super Baja Ray pretty good for being a desert truck at a BMX track in a warehouse. There's a video of that. That's not on the reels, but yeah, you guys got me back, man. I got my Creighton fixed. I don't have my trigger finger back in shape. I over rotated at the skate park, man, and I did 2 flips and landed really good on the front corner and broke the steering link on the one side. And I kept running it. I ran it for another 20 minutes, dude, because I still had the drive shaft. So I was at the skate park. I'm like, I'm here. I got this truck. I got 1 battery. Yeah, I broke the link, but as long as I can give it a little blip, I can get that wheel to straighten out and gyro out and actually run straight. I only got steering on one, but I can set up and do it. So I ran it anyway, but I've got it fixed up. Do you guys ever use RPM arms on anything, or do you guys always just stay stock?
I have RPM arms on my Traxxas Rustler. That's the only thing I have RPM arms on. I'm probably gonna put some on this Typhon. I've been working on. Probably put some on that, but I don't know.
Yes, sir. RPM arms on my Typhon 3S, on my Creighton 4S. I have some for my Sentin. I have some for the Big Rock, and I have some for my Outcast 4S, but I haven't put them on yet.
Let me ask you a question, and this will tell me how jank you are. I know how jank I am. So when you get a set of RPM arms, I've done it both ways. When you replace them, do you do the whole car? Do you do just the front 2, or you only replace the one that's broken?
All right, I got like 3 answers for that. All right, so when I buy the RPM arms, they're for replacement, they're for upgrades, and therefore if the original A-arms break.
Good answer.
Well, me?
Yeah, tell me.
Me? I have been lazy, and I broke one arm. I slapped the RPM arm, and I go back outside. I have done that, but once I came back in the house, I was like, it didn't feel right, or it was like something a little different. So I said, let me go ahead and replace both of them, so it can feel right. So once I changed both of them on my Rustler, I was like, oh, we good now. So I put the stock ones in my little bag, my little parts bag, so I can work on it anytime, or swap them back if I want to. But I'm good with the RPM. They work fine. Trust me.
I like
it's always best, in my opinion, it's always best to replace them all, or at least replace the 2 where you at. Like if you break a back one, replace both of the back ones. The front ones may be all right, but just make sure you replace the back ones. You know what I mean? The right and left, either front and back, whichever one
that's
is
what
broke.
I do. I replace them in pairs, not just one.
Yeah, I'm jank where I've done just one. And
I have done it now.
The droop is different. So it's better to do 2 for sure, or all 4. But I'm like, what am I going to do if I take the stock ones off? Let me just
put them in a bag. Hey, they'll be in a bag. They'll be in a bag under a table forever.
Let me just break them. Let me just go ahead on and break the stock ones, and I'll eventually they all be RPM. But when I broke that Creighton up, I just fixed the RPM. I just put RPM on one corner. Now my other set of RPM showed up, and I got the stock ones, so I'm good. But it's kind of nice having a match. It does change the droop a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing I remember about when I had the X Max, I got the RPM arms. And when you put them on, you had to do all kinds of changing to modify it and get different hinge pins and everything. But it was worth it because if you ever seen an X Max, if I remember right, the left front and left rear, it's specific. Left or right or front or back. I can't remember which way or both. But if you had the RPM arms, it didn't matter. You didn't have to stock up on a bunch of left ones and right ones or front ones and back ones. If you had the RPM arms for the X Max, it didn't matter where you put them. They were good on any corner of the truck. So sometimes that's nice. I mean, definitely you got a difference between front and back on even the 6S Armas and stuff like that. But it was kind of cool having the RPM arms work for every corner on the X Max, but you have to change the hinge pins and the carriers and that kind of stuff too. Jank RC, let's go.
Flyboys 305 said, what other battery can I run in my Typhon Grom other than the 1300 milliamp hour 3S from Spectrum?
Any other battery that's got the IC2?
I got an answer for him.
Oh, Linden responded. Linden responded. My bad.
Yeah, a Gen Z 2300 2S LiPo. It has the IC plug, the IC2 plug on there. You can find them on Amazon.com or eBay. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Matthew Senior said, X-Max, I use the Traxxas HD arms. The RPM arms are too flexible.
I can see that also. And that was one of the things where they're so flexible, it forces you to change the pins, the hinge pins. When I did the RPM arms and I was still on the Traxxas hinge pins, they would flex out. So I ended up having to get the bolt-on, I think they were GPM or something, hinge pins with nylon locking nuts or something. But
oh wow. Mike Bird said, do you use hard case for bashing? I do, honestly. I use hard case for everything. I use hard or soft. It depends on what it is, you know. I just don't like to use soft packs on metal chassis when I'm bashing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because I've had bad luck bashing hard packs on metal chassis. I don't know why. I guess the impact or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes my batteries start to swell after bashing soft packs. So of course they out of here. As soon as they do that, they out of here. I don't play no games about those batteries. They are out of here. As soon as they puff or any little bit, they puff up. They out of here.
I use what I have. I with the Creighton, I got a bunch of most car guys aren't going to have 6S batteries laying around, right? You're doubling up on 3S packs. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. But some of these jets and these big planes, they run on a 5000 6S. And so I'll use them. I know better, but I'll use them.
Do the planes normally run like the shorty packs, like the smaller packs, or do they run like the full size packs?
It depends on the plane, right? So this is a 4S 3200 soft pack. And then this big dog is a 5000 6S. You build a house with this brick.
Ooh, yes, sir.
Right? Yep.
So these are perfect in our jets and like our bigger 6S planes we have. It's also pretty darn okay in the 6S Creighton. However, I mean, it's a soft pack, so you're risking it. But they do have metal plates in between the cells on these. I've had like 4 or 5 Creightons. I like that platform a lot. I've got some batteries that when I tacoed the chassis, the batteries got a curve in them too. That is some scary business. So
yes,
in a perfect world, trying to be responsible about life and recommend responsibility, I would say, yeah, double up the hard case 3S instead of doing this. But I got these, so I'm running them.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Is like said, hey Urban, I pulled a trick. Hold on. Hey
Whoa.
Urban, I pulled the plug. I got the Axial SS24 Power Wagon. What do you think on that one? Man, you got a good truck. You got a good truck.
Yes,
Trust
sir.
me. You're gonna love it. Cause that long wheelbase, honestly, them long wheelbase trucks, they can be able to crawl a lot better than the short wheelbase trucks. Like out of the box, that truck is gonna be able to crawl over a lot of stuff that the short wheelbase couldn't do. With slight modifications, it's gonna be a straight beast, like almost unstoppable. But that body is heavy though. Just so we clear, that body is heavy. And if you got those V3 electronics, I really don't like Spectrum V3 electronics. I like the V2s. The V2s so much smoother. Unless they've done something to them to make them better, the V3 is better. But those V2s, man, those V2s crawl nice, slow crawl. Man, they just so much better. Because I did put the V3 electronics in my Gladiator and I sold it because I had one of those little transmitters laying around that came with my boost, my granite boost, you know, the same ones that come with the NASCARs and all that, the little small controller. What is it? SLT?
The SLT too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I had one of those bounded up to the V3 electronics and sold it. I mean, it works, but that annoying sound. A lot of people, honestly, a lot of times I can't even hear that sound until I start editing my video. Because I'm so busy thinking about trying to make sure I keep the car crawling, you know, keep the car in the camera and everything. But when I watch that playback, I'm like, oh my God, do you hear that sound?
Yeah, you hear that sound. Yeah, and I have to put music or something in the background.
Yes, that thing be like, I'm like, man.
I turned down the audio a lot on the crawler videos. I still want to hear it, but
yeah, but I like to hear it. Yeah,
I want to hear it, but I don't want it to be like killing me.
Mm-hmm.
So I cut it back a bunch, and yeah. Hey, J-Man. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, what you got to say about J-Man?
Oh, just talking about heavy on the X-Max. He's talking about the factory bumper, and I remember I just had to have me some of those belted Proline tires that I put on the X-Max. And they're great. They don't balloon, but they're so stinking heavy. I put the stock ones back on after one run. So I feel him on talking about keeping the X-Max as light as you can. Like, to me, I love that big old Outcast, and I had a good time with it. And the big Creighton, I mean, they're a beast. 8S. But if I'm shopping, there's something to be said for lightweight. And would you rather bend a chassis or have a flexible chassis? And that the X-Max is just, it's lighter weight. It's lighter weight, man. It's a pretty dope monster truck. It was built to be what it is. and it's not as heavy as the other ones. And so keeping it light for me is the way to go on the X-Max. So I feel you not wanting to have it heavy. Dude, those Proline tires, I couldn't stand them. It was a completely different truck when I put those heavy tires on the X-Max. I couldn't stand it.
Easy Life said, a lot of people say that off-brand batteries like Z are better than Spectrum. What are your thoughts? I run Z 7200 milliamp hour in my Losi Pro Moto all day long. 2S.
I have both batteries. I have Z's and Spectrums. But I can't say I did have one Z battery go bad on me, and none of my Spectrum batteries have ever went bad on me. So I mean, but I still like both brands.
Yeah, you got a lot of Spectrum batteries too, don't you, Linden?
I got a whole LiPo bag full of them.
Yeah, see, I gotta step my game up. He got a lot of them.
That's most of what I got is Spectrum. And a lot of it came influencer style, like when they were sending me planes and stuff all the time, they'd also hook it up. But I have the Spectrum chargers, so I kind of keep with the Spectrum batteries. But I've run Roaring Tops, and I used to run the Admiral batteries when I was working at Motion. I think whatever's going to work for you consistently is the way to go. You know, whatever makes you happy. If you want to get in on the ecosystem, the telemetry, and some of the things that Spectrum technology has to offer, it makes sense to use their batteries to get that. You know, some of that telemetry back and all. But if you don't care, as long as they're holding up, send it.
Julius Campbell said, hey chat, I'm looking for some street tires for my Armor Granite. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. I'll be switching to 17 millimeter hexes. GRPs, baby.
Do they still make those Banditos, man?
That's what I was getting right. Yeah, I had those for my
yeah, those some pretty good tires too.
They some good
Proline Banditos.
I think they're,
but only reason I say GRPs is because they belted tires, and you say on road. When most people say they convert an off road car to on road, normally they about to do a speed run. That's the only reason I say GRP. That's the only reason I say GRP. Even though GRPs are super thin, and if you start wheeling that car, you might break them. So
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, you might need to get them Banditos, like the guy said, man.
Man, when I first had the Felony, dude, I burnt through tires so quick. But I mean, that's what I got the car for. I wanted to drift it, you know. And I did a couple of videos on the Felony. I think they're all right. But after that, I replaced the tires with just the stock ones. But I was able to drive it in a warehouse with that smooth, polished concrete floor. Never wore them out anymore. It was awesome. But yeah, the road's going to kill it. But the Banditos, I think they're kind of cheap. They remind me a little bit of the tread you'll see on the Traxxas Anaconda tires that you see being offered on like Rustlers and some of that. I would see some guys with Rustlers and Slashes running those Anacondas, don't want none, on the clay track where I used to race. Because they were running clay tires like slicks on this racetrack. So the folks that had RTRs, those Anacondas were the way to go. But of course, Armas does their own thing on the hex size. What is it, 14 on some of those 3S and 2S joints? It's like a 14 millimeter hex. So you got to make sure you get the right ones. But with the Traxxas, Rustler and Slash, 12 millimeter hex all day long, open it wide open for more choices.
Absolutely. Mike Bird said, what's your biggest RC purchase disappointment?
Man, let's not go there. I'm just kidding. I immediately think about some of the business stuff I've tried in the past. And that was a big purchase. We bought a hobby shop, man. That was maybe not the I tell you what, it's hard to work in it and still keep your love for it. Not everybody can do it. And I made more content before I worked in RC than when I had the shop, which is ironic and brutal. Like when I was scrubbing rug, I did Stanley Steamer for 11 years, man. I was scrubbing rug, refinishing hardwoods, cleaning tile, stripping and waxing. I made more content. My YouTube was better then than when I had the shop. I was so consumed with the dailies of running that shop, man.
I can only imagine. I got out of it a year ago. I sold out my piece. Hallelujah. And I got out at the right time, I think. But anyway, that's my biggest disappointment with RC purchases is that hobby shop. Matthew Senior said asphalt eats homes up quick, especially on 8S. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I'm trying to think about a real answer to that question, though.
Hold on one second. I'll be right back. My wife calling me.
I feel like I've made pretty well-informed purchases. I think as a reviewer, you know, there were some things that I've done videos on that I wouldn't have maybe bought in a million years. You know, especially if you're into this and then they send you the beginner thing. And even that's got its place. But there's been some things that it's like, I don't want to name anything in particular, but there's some planes where it's like, y'all shouldn't have made this. This is not good. And you already have really good beginner planes. I don't think you needed this one also. And, you know, your people that watch you learn how to read between the lines because you never want to be like, some people do. I've never been one to try to be negative about it, but you got to read between the lines. If I'm flying a plane and I talk about how you're going to, with a little bit of practice, you're going to be rewarded with a good landing. What that means is this thing's a son of a gun and you better practice because otherwise it's going to be ugly and you're going to bounce it all over the place.
Exactly.
So you just figure out how to say it nice. The felony's specific on the tires too. Like it's easier to change up the tires on an infraction to something that's not stock than a felony because the felony's got that. The gearing is specific to the front.
The gearing is specific to those back tires.
That's right. So the infraction, change it whatever as long as they're all the same. But you got to maintain whatever ratio business is happening with the felony difference in the front and rear.
He said, Big Jim RC said speed runs on a limitless. I mean, I've did one speed. I did a 4S speed run on my limitless, and I got 75 miles an hour. But I haven't had my limitless out in a long time. So I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to do a 6S speed run and an 8S speed run.
Are you still on the stock radio, or what do you got in it?
Oh yeah, I'm still on. I had Spectrum. I had the whole Spectrum system in there, and then I switched out to a Castle system. But then I put the Spectrum back in there.
I'm always curious on the fast stuff, on getting out of range. You know, some of those, a lot of the guys that really do the speed runs.
Yeah,
they always go for open source or even Dumbo radios. I think they get away from the RTR radio a little bit, but I've only ran out of range if my antenna was damaged. I've not really run out of range on anything.
Yeah, because I run my limitless on my DX5 C Pro. I had no range issues.
That's a good. The 6C right now, dude. I can't believe it. I think it's less than $200. Yeah, You can get it with the 315 receiver for like 189. The DX6C. My 5C, I need to send it in for service because the scroll wheel is like, I gotta lean to the right and only scroll one little tick at a time, or it will jump back to the beginning all the time. But I've beat it up, so I'm not even mad at the 5C. But I got to get it fixed. But I got a 5 Pro that it works fine. But I like where the wheel is better on the 5 and the 6. The Pro has that like drop down on the wheel for like racing, and it's harder to drive it one-handed.
Oh yeah, because the wheel is lower.
That's it. And I've changed on my 5C. I just took a RTR crawler wheel off a DX3 and put it on the 5C, and it fit. So I got the thumb knob on it.
Oh,
I tried
wow.
to do that and that's a pretty cool hack. I tried
Can you show it?
Pro. Yeah, I can show it. I tried to do it on the 5 Pro. It's a different hex. It didn't work.
Wow.
But
Hey,
yeah,
Fly, what you mean? Hey, Fly, what you mean? Linden changed the limitless to 6S today.
Oh, he changed his. He must have changed his.
the 5C I got a
All right,
DX3.
he changed it to 6S.
Yeah, I got a DX3 RTR wheel on here, and it fit.
Oh yeah.
Let me get you on solo. Oh wow.
So I have a feeling the same thing would be possible on the 6C, but I know for a fact it's not possible on the Pro. It just, the hex for the wheel is different. And you got to be careful when you start taking these off because they're like spring loaded in there. You know what I mean? To return back to neutral. You got to be careful. I thought I messed up my 5 Pro putting them back together after I realized I couldn't do this. But when you filming, it's nice to have a thumb on it. That's for sure. But you get good where you start steering off your belly and stuff. Hey,
I've been there before. Trust me. Trying to film and drive at the same time. Driving with your stomach and holding the camera on like a selfie stick. Oh man, that is crazy.
That's how I do those crawler videos. Selfie stick with a cell phone down low. Get that
down low.
Get that perspective.
Yeah. Because I got I just bought me. I bought it a while ago. I got a phone gimbal, and it got the selfie stick on there now. So once I get out back crawling, I ain't gotta bend down and follow now. I can just stand up and hold the gimbal and follow it just like that.
Exactly.
I had one of those DJI selfie stick gimbals.
Yeah.
And I broke it because that's what I do. But
me too. I broke mine too.
But having the cell phone on a selfie stick, even without a gimbal, it's hanging. It's still hanging, right? So it's kind of like having a gimbal, because if we're on a hill climb and I'm holding it, as long as I let it hang, you still get the real angle of the hill, right? So you get to see kind of the incline of it. Yeah. Cell phone, man, I'm telling you, these cameras on the phones, amazing.
They amazing.
Definitely.
Belly steering RC in the house.
Oh, okay, Fly. Oh, 8S. Oh, was too hard to manage. Yeah, see, Fly, where I got this street that is blocked off as no cars come down ever. They only use that road for emergencies. So most of the year, the street is blocked off. So that's where I go. And it's a long street. Nice pavement. It's done over. Everything. I love that street.
All right. We got a question from Dwayne. Dwayne said, I have the DX5 Pro and the spring in the wheel was lost. I guess he lost the spring in the wheel. How hard is it to replace the spring? It has a lot of switches on the wheel mount area.
So I was able to work it out without getting into it too far. All I was trying to do was just take the wheel off. So I didn't get into it very far. And I got lucky, whatever, to get it back. Because depending on how you mount it, it was loose or freewheeling. But I got it worked out where I got it back. And I was lucky. As far as repairing it, you know, you can't hardly get parts for the radios to fix them yourself. You might get lucky in a shop somewhere may have some of those bits and be willing to get in there. But I know because I've needed parts before and buddies have needed parts before where you are not going to be able to source any parts to fix an air radio for sure, because it's a liability thing. I don't think they want you working on them. And it seems like the same thing for free. It seems like the same thing on the surface radios too, where they just, if you look in the parts list on the radio or option parts for the radio, there's never anything there. So they do have a service center you can send it into though. And if it's a relatively new purchase, they probably fix it for nothing. And if they do charge you, it's the minimum's not too bad. I don't think.
You know what, Dwayne? I got a DX3. You might be able to take the spring out of this. I don't know. I wonder would the spring fit in this from this? Because of course I had problems with my Pro Moto, and I just got this laying around. This right here doesn't even work. I don't think it works because they sent me a new transmitter and receiver for my Pro Moto, and I still got this and the old receiver laying around. I tried to bind this transmitter to the original receiver. It was a no-go. I mean, well, no. Yeah. Tried to bind this to the original receiver, no-go. So the transmitter was working, and then they had to send me a receiver to replace the original receiver. So I had to change all that stuff out. And the transmitter and the receiver were bad. I think they went bad when I tried to put that Bluetooth module in my transmitter. It screwed everything up. So I got that laying around, man. You can get it if you want it.
That's true. For whatever reason, I don't think that module works with the Pro Moto, but it does with other stuff. And I think even on the box for the motorcycle, it talks about it. It talks about that. I think the dashboard app.
Yeah,
and BT 2000. But hopefully, it's one of those things that they innovate so often that if it was broke, then you would hope they're working on it. That maybe in the future it will apply or be able to work. But yeah, that Pro Moto, brand new tech, brand new offering, and brand new kind of gyro. The whole thing about that was, I think, very unique. And so, unfortunately, I think even they thought it was going to work, and it didn't. And you don't find out till you find out. And then, yeah, it messed up. It messed up what you had. They had to replace it. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. Shout out to the 28 still watching, man. 2 hours and 49 minutes in, man. We're going to be wrapping it up here at the 3-hour mark. You guys are absolutely awesome. We definitely appreciate Pilot Ryan for joining us, man. It's been a fantastic live stream.
Yes, sir.
Definitely been enjoying it.
I still got one more question to ask you though.
Oh yeah, take off.
Hey, Pilot Ryan, you got a fire team?
Man, I used to.
And have you ever had a Mojave success?
No, but I've driven them.
All right. So, in your opinion, which one you like better,
Hold on, before you answer this, Pilot Ryan, Linden is trying to take a poll. He's asking a poll question. This is a poll question. Hey, he's real slick with his poll questions now. He's running a poll. Him and Louie, they got this poll going on about these 6S cars. You see, Louie just showed up. They got this poll question going on.
All right. So let me tell you what I like about them both. So the chassis is the same, right? The wheelbase is the same on the Fire Team and the Mojave, but the Mojave rides like a desert truck. What the Mojave does amazingly is how it still acts like a desert truck, even though it's independent suspension. It still looks legit when it's out there, but it's pretty soft. A lot of body roll, that kind of thing. The Mojave's dope, though. I kind of like the Fire Team. I like the way it looked. We used to rip it on an oval, and the oval was small. So you can imagine the 6S Fire Team doesn't quite have the steering to make the turn, but if you rip the drift, it will. And so that thing looks like it's a pissed off sprint car out there ripping it. So I like the Fire Team. I like the tires on the Fire Team, but I do like a desert truck. And if you had to work on a UDR, which is super scale, even a Super Baja Ray or something like that, super scale with a solid rear axle, amazing. The Mojave's 10 times easier to work on than any of those scale joints where you got to undo body panels. So you get the desert feel out of a Mojave with the Basher experience on maintenance and keeping up with it and repairs. So I think I should run for office because I didn't really answer your question, but I said a lot of words.
Yeah, I know. I know where he was leaning to.
Hey, when I told him it was a poll,
it's about a tie. It's about a tie.
It wasn't no tie. I know what he was leaning to.
Pilot Ryan saw it was a trick question and he didn't want to join in.
He said, "You ain't gonna keep me caught up in that battle."
Hey, I'm married. I'm married. I know how to do this. I know how to participate.
I'm gonna give an answer without answering. I'm gonna give an answer without judging it.
That's
absolutely. It. Thank you, Big Jim. Shout out to Big Jim.
I know where he was leaning to.
I'm over here trying to get this light. I'm over here trying to get this light done. I'm like, hold on. What? Give me a second.
Hey, Louie, get a little. Come down a little bit so you can get in the camera so I can get my screenshot. Can we get a smile, everybody? I need my screenshot for the next short that's coming out tomorrow. Y'all know how I do.
All right, come on. We go. Forever.
We good. That's all I need. A second. All I need was a second. Just long enough so I can come back to the live, screenshot it, throw it in the editing software.
Yes,
boom, we'll have a real look tomorrow for this live stream.
Both for Ryan and Pedro.
Tater tots.
Oh my goodness.
Linda gonna have me come up on here on a Sunday, and we're gonna have to do this battle on a Sunday. And, Fire Team Mojave, let's talk about it.
Oh my God. It's like saying everybody say chastity. Oh my goodness. It's been a fantastic live, Pilot Ryan. Don't worry. We definitely gonna want you to come back on here, man. Listen, everybody who come on here, we gonna want you to come back at least once a month, man. You know what I mean? Just talk RC talk, because it's been a fantastic live. You got a lot of information that you can share with us, and we definitely enjoy it. And I'm sure the guys in the chat definitely enjoyed it as well, because I definitely been enjoying this night right here. Definitely.
Me too, man. Learning about them planes, man.
Yeah. Oh, I got another question. Before we get this question, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, let's go. All right. Well, since you do all this 3D printing, if I pay for the files, how much would it cost you to print me this right here?
You want that 3-wheeler?
How much would it cost me? And listen, hold on, before you answer, I need 3 of them in 3 different colors. I need a red one, I need a green one, and I need a yellow one.
$1 million.
Look, did you see it? I love it. I love it.
I got you, man. Hey, just give me the files. And so what what I don't even know what to say. What chassis or what platform is that?
Basically, well, they have two different versions. One version, the rear axle is a Traxxas Rustler, and the other one, the rear axle is like a TRX4M, or a TRX4 rear axle, because it's like a 1/5 scale, 4th scale. It's pretty big.
Sick. Yeah, just to hit me up, man. I got you. I get it.
Don't worry, I will definitely be in contact with you.
I think
because I want a 3D printer, right? Just to print that, but also in the future I want to, because I've been, like I said, I'm the watcher. I watch everything. I look around, I see different videos, see different things, that I said, what if I implement that over here? Would it make my channel go in the direction I want it to go? So I was thinking about the 3D printer. I cannot think of the guy's name. If you're watching, I'm sorry. He prints out a lot of chassis and the arms and everything. Basically prints out little cars. And then he puts a body on it. Like he may buy a model car or something and put a body on it, but he basically prints out everything except for the body. Puts them together, makes like little videos. He has videos driving through the city, being chased by cars, running through brick walls and everything. I mean, this dude, his editing skills are out of this world, and his building skills. Like, he literally builds like a little city with streets and stuff, I guess, on top of a table, and drives the cars through the city. Like, stuff falls down and blocks the road for the cars, and some cars bust through the brick walls, and it's like,
sweet.
Next time I find the video, I'll definitely send it to you guys so you can check it out. But it's interesting for sure.
It's one of those things you wonder why you waited so long, because it changes the way you think about it a little. Like, I already know if I do a 3D printed body on a basher, it's probably gonna be destroyed. But I'm ready to. I think I want to see it happen. You know what I mean? There's just so much you can do with them. And I'm really only printing off RC stuff, but you could print off every stupid widget thing you can think of. Gifts for the kids, fidgets, like useful stuff for hanging up brooms and rakes. I mean, just anything you can think of. Somebody's already got a file for it. So I would like to learn how to do CAD and design some of my own stuff. And I've preschooled my way into making a few things that I needed to mount these up and stuff. But I'm saying, even if you don't have the design chops or CAD chops, there is enough out there that exists already, somebody else has designed, that you can keep yourself occupied. It's a pretty neat thing. See, I mean, these 1964 international travel law, I like international, and I had never even heard of this thing. And to have one sitting there out of nothing is what it feels like, is pretty cool. So whatever you can think of, you can really make happen. And to augment what you're doing. And I mean, Louie's using one all the time, it sounds like, for making brackets and mounting systems for some of these lights. I mean, there's just so much you can do with them.
My lights are 3D printed on the way.
It changed your RC life.
Absolutely. Definitely. Hey, because I'm telling you that I was looking at RC Driver put out a video a couple of months ago. He did a video on the Bamboo Labs Mini, and I was trying my best to get it. I went over to the website. I was like, yo, I waited 2 days. I should have bought it the same day he made the video. I should have bought it that day. Of course, you know, when a big channel like that makes a video, you wait 2 days, they're going to be sold out. No doubt about it. I waited 2 days, checked it out, sold completely out, couldn't even get one. I was like, dude, that was the one for me, because You can operate it with your phone. It has a camera on it where you can actually watch the printing and record the printing from your phone. Like it's so cool.
You know, I gotta say it like this. In my mind, my limited experience with 3D printing, Bamboo feels like Spectrum, where everybody chasing them because they came out with dope stuff.
Yep.
Which means, and Big Jim threw it out here in the chat, my buddies Kirk and Kelly, they're printing with Creality or, you know, other printers, or if they're not there yet, they're on their way. So whatever you like about Bamboo, these other guys are gonna get there. So the Elegoo Centauri is $300. That's $2,000 worth of stuff over here. But when I look at my prints next to my buddies who got the $300 printer, we both are still having to finish and sand and paint and mess around with them. So you can get it done for less. What I liked about Bamboo was that they liked me enough to send me one, and how easy it was for me to use. But like I say, I don't think it's going to be too far of a stretch to think that these other companies that sell more affordable printers are going to catch up and have that cool user interface be available through an app on your phone like the Bamboo is, if it's not already. And stuff like the Prusa and the Creality and the Enders and all that in this Elegoo deal, they're coming up and they're all fighting for market share. So whatever you like about Bamboo, just wait. You're going to get it from the other guys. I guarantee.
Awesome. Yes, sir. That's some good information that I needed to hear right now. So I'll just wait a little while.
Earlier about what filaments I like, what brand of filaments.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry.
No, it was 2 hours ago. But I like the Bamboo filaments, but they come from overseas. You're going to wait for them. So don't let yourself run out. But me and my buddies, we also use that Elegoo PLA that you can get off Amazon, and it comes quick and it's just as good and it's a little bit cheaper.
And you know what? I just saw a video. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
No, that's it. Whatever filament you can get a hold of is what I'm saying. And on my Bamboo, I'm able to tell it exactly what filament it is from Bamboo, or I just put generic PLA and it knows what to do. I haven't had to mess with the temps, nothing. It knows what to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus. That's definitely a plus.
I saw a short just a couple of days ago. A guy had a Dremel tool and a little piece of filament, and he actually welded the stuff together with the filament and the Dremel. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, look at that.
Yeah, that was Matt. That was SBG, Scale Builders Guild. He discovered that. He saw some, that's what's great about the whole thing and the community of it all. It's like we all get to learn from each other. Like I used to say this about the flying. It's like you're on the accelerated learning program because of the internet. We're all able to learn so much from each other. Like, can you imagine learning how to fly back in the day where you legit had to go to a field and get with a veteran flyer to help get you up and going? Now you can watch videos, you can reach out to creators and ask questions. I've answered so many questions in the comment sections of videos. I should be customer service somewhere or something.
Right?
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's crazy, but we can get that. And I saw that same reel you're talking about where, Matt saw somebody welding basically with a piece of filament and a rotary tool and was able to work it out. I'm going to try it too.
Yo, it was out of this world. I was like, yo, that is super cool. Especially the guys that do their prints in separate pieces or larger pieces and have to put them together. Just imagine you go around the edge of it with that little piece of filament and that rotary tool, and it basically bonds it together. And they say it's pretty strong. It's like bonded, you know?
It's crazy. And I know, like, I have to, obviously I got to print these in pieces. They're huge, even the 10 scale ones. And I glue them together, butt joints with CA glue. But when I cut, like when I'm cutting on arches or whatever, I'll use either a rotary tool like a Dremel, or if it's a big cut and I can get away with it, I use a jigsaw. And that jigsaw, it's melting as much as it's cutting. After I cut it, I got to cut it again, because just like you're saying, if you're using the PLA as the adhesive, man, it's the same material that you're gluing together. The bond's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really kind of excited to try that out.
Absolutely, because when he bonded those motor parts together, I was like, wow, that looks super cool. Super cool.
Stacking dimes with PLA. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
It's getting late. Look at Linden.
Yeah, the Linden Ling. Fred said, I bought my young grandkids 3 pins.
We at?
Yeah, we at 3. Hey,
Louie,
the Linden Ling. Y'all know what time it is when we hit that 3-hour mark. Boy, that Linden Ling sets in, fellas. Find the caffeine IV.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
yeah, fellas, we've been on 3 hours and 6 minutes.
That was funny right there. It's getting late. Look at Linda.
Yes, we've been on 3 hours and 6 minutes. It's been a pleasure to have Pilot Ryan on, man. Pilot Ryan, you're definitely welcome to come back anytime you would like. And we definitely gonna set you up to try to get you on here once a month. Talk RCs. Let us hear about what you've been working on, what you done built, what's been your latest project and things like that. Matter of fact, what is your latest project? What have you built lately?
Holy moly. I got so many coals in the fire, right? I'm basically wrapped up on the big old red International. I just put the windows in last night. Windshield wipers are printed. I got to glue them on. So that's basically stick it with a fork. I got that big 55 Chevy I'm working on, and this F-250 sitting here. But like you guys got me in on my bashers right now. I'm going to fix up that Typhon 6S so I can run it 4S and race e-buggy A-scale. So, yeah, that. I also got a Unimog on the TRX4 I'm working on. And I got to get these planes out in front of the camera. You know, with my channel, I get more views on the airplanes than I do the surface. So I'll never forget that. And flying is the number one thing that got me into this. And there's something about, I'm a kid again out in front of that camera with those planes. So that's what I got to do is I kind of got to restructure my format. I used to have a cameraman all the time. I can't wait for it to happen. I'm just going to have to change up my format a little bit. I used to be put that battery in, fly that whole flight, don't cut nothing except for the intro, and let folks have that whole piece. But I'm going to start making it a little bit more YouTube centric, where I cut out the dull stuff and just do my own thing. But yeah, as far as projects go, there's always a ton of them. I'm wanting to print off a little Chevy 55 for a leaf sprung kit. I kind of want an H10 optic, but for now, I just got to finish up this F-250 and that Chevy SCX6. And
yeah,
then,
that H10 optic Ikonz got that thing is super nice. Super nice.
I want to do that night custom bug files for it. I'm gonna change it right away if I get one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I probably would. If I had the H10 optic Ikonz head, that thing would definitely be a shelf queen. I wouldn't even want to take it outside. It's so much aluminum on it. It's like, dude, don't take that out and get it scratched up and get it dirty like that. That thing is supposed to be just a piece of art, something to watch, something to look at, you know?
Did you see that one, that $3,500 one they put out? That's all.
Yes.
That
yes. That's thing is another level.
It's definitely another level. It's too much for me, but it makes me wish I was an influencer sometimes. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't worry. Hey, you buy that regular H10, Vanquish might say, hey, we'll send you this aluminum kit just to test out.
Let me do it. I'll mess it up. I've been thinking about getting a Cricut. You know, one of those Cricuts for making decals and stencils. That's
And
kind of my
that's something else on the list. A Cricut machine and a 3D printer. Those were my number one items that I want to pick up. Because I want to start making decals as well as masking for my paint job, so I can put like different designs and things in there. Yeah, so that's definitely why I want to get a Cricut machine.
Me too. I this big red thing with all that, because I did the panel version. There's no windows on the back, you know, so there's all that space. And I thought at first I was going to pimp it out, kind of YouTube, like Pilot Ryan or whatever. But I want to think up something else. Even the radio flyer graphics from the wagon, that old, you know, the wagon radio flyer.
You know what? I got an idea for you. Get with an airbrush guy and get him to airbrush Pilot Ryan Media. You know how those old trucks like that used to be basically work trucks. You know what I mean? Like company trucks. Get Pilot Ryan Media and get an airplane underneath it on the side where that window, where there's no window at. That'd be super cool. Super cool. Yeah, but you know, I mean, there's so many options you can come up with.
I haven't landed on one yet. I keep thinking of Wise, like something goofy. Like
Louie got that pit bull, got that killer certified. Better watch out.
He wanted to be on the live. He keep coming over here like, yo, who you talking to?
Yeah, sir, that is so cool.
That's how you was in the video when you were explaining your how to do your back to wall.
Yep.
He was like, who are you talking to? He kept looking at you. Who are you talking to?
Oh wow, it's a whole video right there.
Oh man, that is so cool. Shout out to everybody in the house, man. 3 hours and 11 minutes. We're gonna go on and call this on a wrap, man. Shout out to y'all. We definitely appreciate you guys. We're gonna go around one at a time, say what we need to say before we get out of here. We definitely appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate Pilot Ryan for joining in, guys. Don't worry, you will see him again. I will set him up on another Tuesday night because we know Thursdays and Sundays are his night. And he wanted to come over here on Thursday, but I said, no, Ryan. Though Thursday is your normal night, and we don't want to disturb your normal night because your viewers are looking forward to seeing you on Thursday night. So we got him on here on Tuesday. So definitely go check out his channel. Links are in the description box for everybody who's normally on the panel. You got Pilot Ryan, Linden, Louie, Corey, Ikonz, Sergent J RC Hotspot, and JustBashinit. All links down in the description box, and as well as Phillysword. Oh yeah, matter of fact, before we get out of here, one thing. What's my guy name? Randy said every time Phillysword is on the live and his daughter sees him, first thing she say, perfect. I can't wait till I see him so I can tell him that. I saw that in the chat earlier, man. But yeah, we're gonna go around one at a time. Pilot Ryan, you got anything you want to say before we leave?
Thanks for having me. Super glad once again to find you guys. You know, I think we can all think about what it takes to make YouTube work really hard and knock ourselves out. But what's going to always work is real fun. And you guys are bringing it in the fun zone without a doubt. I've been stuck ever since I found you guys by mistake. I've been here showing up and sending my guys over after, you know, we raid you back. So keep up the good work. I think it is absolutely what it says it is, the fun zone. I love the group. I love all the other guys you have on the panel here and there. I think everybody's really bringing it and sharing the fun of RC. So I would say anybody that's in the room here from my people, check out the description to this live because there's a lot of channels that he's got linked there that are doing good things. And if you're into the bashing and watching guys just be real about delivering the fun, you're in the right spot. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yes, sir. We definitely appreciate you, Pilot Ryan. Pilot Ryan Media. Let me say it right. Linden.
All right. Yeah, man. Just want to give a special shout out to Pilot Ryan. Thanks for man coming in, hitting us with that analysis of RC planes, your crawlers, and some of your bashers you have. Man, we appreciate you. Thanks to the chat, man. Like, once again, we appreciate y'all for being patient with us with the questions. Man, I know we couldn't get to them all, but man, we thank y'all. Thank y'all for showing up. Thanks to all my new subscribers, man. Appreciate y'all liking, commenting, and y'all man, just keep watching. Yeah, man. Till the next time. Peace.
Yes, sir. Louie, fix it.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Oh, what we hit tonight? What we hit tonight? Sorry for that. I think we hit about
60 something. We're like 67.
67. That's what we trying to get to that 100. We trying to get to that 100 before the year's out. Like I'm trying to get to that 50 before the year's out. But thanks for everybody for coming out, and y'all definitely was hitting them likes. We definitely see them likes. Pilot Ryan, that was a good one, showing us about that fly life. And yeah, man, that's a whole different world. It's like bringing we just brought a whole different world into this one right here, and that was definitely sweet. Yeah, thanks for everybody that's out there that support me on my likes. Come back again every Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays here in the Fun Zone, where we talk about RC, we talk Mars talk, as I say. Everybody talking Mars, you know, leave all that regular talk to the Earthlings, and you know that RC talk is the Mars talk, and that's what we doing here. So definitely appreciate everybody for coming out. Polo, say deuces to everybody. Deuces, see y'all later. Come back again.
All right. Yes, sir, man. We definitely appreciate you guys for coming in, rocking out with us for 3 hours and 16 minutes. I was about to say 2 hours. You guys are awesome, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to everybody who joined the Fun Zone. Shout out to Pilot Ryan. Pilot Ryan is the man, guys. We definitely appreciate him for coming over here, hanging out with us. And we definitely appreciate you guys for being patient with us in the chat. Of course, definitely come hang out with us Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday around 8:20 p.m. I was a little late tonight. My bad, fellas. My bad. Sometimes it happens. But definitely come hang out with us. We definitely appreciate you guys. We see all the comments. We see you guys in the chat. We definitely appreciate you guys. And like I always say, man, until next time, get out there and drive your RCs, fly your drones. If you got a boat, put it in the water, and we will see you on the next one. Peace. Chastity.
Giveaways.